Palazzo, and today we're dyeing my hair. I have just arrived to On-Site Studio Hair Salon, and today Kat is going to help me dye my hair silver. This is absolutely life-changing. I'm so blonde.
Almost forgot about that video live.
Okay, so we're about 2 hours in, and this is the lightest hair color I've ever had in my life. I'm having a little bit of a mental breakdown, kind of, but that's probably as far as we're gonna get today. She's gonna do one more treatment with a little bit of a brown purpley that will help tone for our next appointment, and then hopefully we're one step closer to silver. Pray for me, please. Okay, so I just left the salon and we didn't get to dry it and style it just because we have NXT Fort Pierce tonight, and I'm already a bit behind schedule. But this was the first step in the going silver process. You can see like bits and pieces that took better. Some are like rose goldy and some are just a bit more darker purple, but the purple is going to help tone it, she said, and make the next appointment and the next step to silver smoother. So this is me for now. This is going to be my look, and we're going to rock it tonight in NXT Fort Pierce. Let's go. Hey guys, so today was day 1 at the PC with my pink hair, and to be fair, people like it. I can't say that I agree in the least, because pink is not my favorite color, and it's totally not me or what I ever thought that I would have attached to my body, but we're rocking it, I guess. They love it or they hate it, and I am just ready to be silver. I talked to Kat, and we are working on scheduling an appointment for next week to get it done, and we'll be one step closer. Okay guys, I am walking into the hair salon to hopefully get my hair finally dyed silver. I am so excited. So my hair is silver. It looks a little bit different in every light because there's some tones of blue and
What's up?
Hello, we are live.
Yeah, I did a Skype update and my shit's not broken. It's impressive.
Hey, there we go. I was allowing everyone to watch Deanna Purrazzo get her hair done.
Is it what?
I was letting everyone watch Deanna Purrazzo get her hair dyed.
Is that a
That's a thing on the WWE PC
YouTube.
I had to give him something. I was just sitting here doing nothing, so.
Somebody else's copyright material, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was like, well, I can't play music because then we'll get content ID and I'll have to remove the episode. So I was like, well, I can do this. So, where's Sally?
Or I don't know.
Or did he already quit on us?
You might have quit after you went at him today.
I didn't go at him that hard. I didn't say anything that hasn't been said about me.
That was the other time he got pissed at me was I made a similar joke. So
Bitch. That's fine, he's not gonna see this. Did you invite him or did you just invite us? Yeah.
No, I invited him.
There he is, yeah. Okay. 2 of 3 on this call. Where is Sal to checkers? So far we're up to 33 votes. Considering that we topped out at 30 before doing the Reddit stuff and the women's, I'm tentatively pleased with the first half day on voting, so we'll see
Nice.
how it goes from there, but we're getting there.
What up?
Oh, look who finally decided to fucking show up.
Sorry. Skype had an update.
I know, it's me too.
Why,
Just check your microphones and shit.
Okay.
why am I the only one who didn't get a Skype update?
I don't know.
Did I already do mine?
Maybe.
Maybe I did. Let me check my audio and visual here. Alright.
I should pop open the chat.
Yeah, right now. There's 4 people. Well, 3, not counting myself. So,
Well, and myself too, because I have to have it open to pop the chat out.
there's 2 people. It's already embedded on the website.
Yeah. And I shared it on my personal.
Okay, that's good.
Alright. My settings are good.
So if I do a screen share, it's going to share to YouTube, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and not do that.
What was that?
I'll go ahead and not do that.
No, what was that notification sound?
Oh, that was my phone. I got to turn it off.
Okay.
What am I, Jeff over here?
Hello, John. Welcome to the side. Welcome to the show.
What's up, John?
Troy, double check your mic settings because you're coming in really loud.
No, I'm not.
Not to me.
I
Alright.
will never change my mic settings if somebody says I am too loud. Alright?
It's true.
Because I always get, you're too quiet, you're too quiet.
Not to mention, Levelator's going to balance it out at the end anyway.
That's true.
Right.
I'm just saying, last night the Bucks are on, Troy can't do the show. Tonight the Bruins are on, Ginger can't do the show. I don't think this is a coincidence.
Mine was honestly, there was no way with how things were going to go with my daughter that I was going to be able to make you wait for me to finish watching NXT. I got her to bed and got I had to clean up the house and shit like that. I got that done. It was 9 o'clock. So I was not going to then go and watch NXT and make you start recording at 11 o'clock at night. I was like, he could do it.
Well, apparently nobody liked the episode, so.
I haven't listened yet. I haven't had time to listen to anything today. Not even Raven Cruiserweight.
I commented on it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. I said your Caesar baloney popped me.
Caesar baloney.
I'm actually in the middle of listening to it. That's why I haven't said it was a good episode yet, because I'm only halfway through.
Yeah.
But you not intentionally making fun of his name was great to me.
That was Ginger, actually.
No, you said Caesar baloney first, and then he laughed about it. And then you're like,
No, I said Benoni.
Oh, Benoni. What is it? What is his name? Is it Benoni?
Cesar Benoni is his name.
Yeah, that's his name.
And then Ginger called him Caesar Baloney.
Okay. Either way, that was funny. That and oh man, what was it?
I thought the Percy Watson has died joke would pop you.
Oh yeah, that was good too.
So what's his deal? Did he get released?
He asked for his release.
Oh, I see.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the
See, there you go.
compliment. There you go. At least somebody liked it.
Yeah. Somebody did. Told you, I'm halfway through it. I'll let you know. No, Percy Watson wants to be an actor. So he felt if they weren't going to use him in the ring and they just wanted to use him as an announcer, he wasn't interested in doing it anymore. So he asked for his release, and because it's NXT, he was granted his release.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like it's a big fucking loss anyway.
It's not.
Right.
Right.
And like I said on the show, it's not like we can't just fucking go to a 2-man booth. That would have been fucking much better. We got to bring a third person in because
Yeah, I don't fucking get that. I really don't.
Equality.
it's bullshit.
They don't want to do 2 white dudes on the booth anymore.
One of them's English. They're foreigner. Whatever.
Yeah, I get that, but
Yeah, but
there's a reason why it was Beth Phoenix and not just like fucking Tom Phillips or Corey Graves or something like that.
I mean, I guess it wasn't Lita, so.
Yeah.
I think Nigel's very capable, though. If you just put Morrow and Nigel, it would have been a fuck. It's NXT, like
Right.
whatever.
John, we've been saying that for a while with their matches when they try to enhance people on NXT. It always seems to happen. Now, Dijakovic was one of the ones who constantly would be put into these matches that the guy he was against would just continue to get offense on him. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I have this weird affinity for Kona Reeves, though. I don't know. Like, I see something in the guy. It's way deep and it's way hidden, but I see something there.
You want to know what's fucked up? I totally love the sleazeball gimmick that he plays.
My problem is he's half-assing the finest gimmick. Like, and I think I
Right.
said that on the show. Like, he needs to go more ridiculously over the top with it.
No, I agree.
I think
Although his new look with his little baggy leather pants thing is sort of douchey in a great way. So
he feels like, to me, he could potentially be like a new Tyler Breeze down there. Tyler Breeze was a very, very like over gimmick and very over the top gimmick, but it worked. I feel
Lord
like,
knows they need another Tyler Breeze down there.
well,
If only there was a Tyler Breeze down there right now.
well, you know what I mean. He's very much like that, like the Miz kind of thing too, where they do these things that they know like make them look ridiculous, but make people irrationally frustrated with them.
So, John, the thing is, like, to us, they're enhancement talents and they're jobbers, but to them, it's like the young crop of talent they're trying to bring up, so they don't want to just squash them, knowing that eventually the plan is for them to hopefully become something.
Yeah, the only time that they really have ever done those kind of squash matches were those guys that they're like, you...
Baron Corbin and fucking, who's it, Bull
Bull
Dempsey.
Dempsey, yep.
Yeah.
Bull James, whatever.
Yeah, and
There's another guy who, I don't do WWE, yeah, how you doing,
Yeah.
fucking chief?
well, and the guys they went against were not Performance Center guys. They weren't NXT guys. They were guys they hired off the street. So that's why, like, Kona Reeves is a NXT guy who could potentially someday be in the North American Championship, battle or something like that. So,
And to be fair, we would have said the same thing about Marcel Bartel a couple weeks ago, and now he's part of a decent tag team. So
Right.
but it's all about. That's why, like, when Leva Bates was there for a little bit, she wasn't signed to NXT, so they were able to kind of throw her some squash matches and stuff like that.
Dan Mathis' name shall not be mentioned. He's the one doing all the interviews. When you see hands interviewing people, that's Dan.
When you
Matha.
see microphones point, like the little phones
that's
pointed at
Dan
somebody.
Matha.
All right, let's get this shit show on the road.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Are we doing anything for Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of very all of a sudden, but
I'm jerking off for her.
All right.
I ever Playboy picks up.
Please, everybody, check your Skype recorders. Make sure that they are running and set properly.
Yep,
All right.
it's running, and the file, like my dick, is growing.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, unintentionally offensive wrestling podcast. And, as has been tradition lately, we are starting the show with some downer news. Because right before we went on the air live, we heard that 2005 Divas Search winner Ashley Massaro passed away at her home. She was 39. Now, as of right now, no cause of death has been given. It has been listed as a non-criminal death, which means that nobody killed her, or nobody caused her death, it appears. And we know that Ashley did have some demons for a while. She's, had some drug issues and things like that. But from what we have seen so far, it sounds as if it was most likely either a heart attack or some kind of, internal failure. the police got a call for an unconscious woman, tried to do CPR on her, and she did pass away at the hospital. So of course Ashley Massaro, was right around our area of time when we were growing up. I know for me that would put me at about 20. So obviously, I remember Ashley. People had certain things to say about her. She was sort of that still the pretty face that the WWE would put into their women's division. Wasn't that great of a worker, but did last with the company for a little bit of time. So, Jason, your thoughts on Ashley?
I was always a fan for obvious reasons. Playboy cover girl, you didn't mention that. She did do big, extensive spread for them. Obviously, you mentioned Demons. Not really a secret. There was a time where she was wrapped up in an escort scandal after her release, amongst other things and problems. Obviously, most probably notably known for managing Kendrick and London when they were the tag team champions. That was probably her most significant role with the company. I think didn't she get a title shot at WrestleMania or something at one point?
She did, and I covered it.
Yeah. But obviously the news is sad, but it's made worse by sort of some of the things that have happened since. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it just a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I don't know, where somebody went on Twitter, created a fake Stephanie McMahon account, and then tweeted at Ashley that they wanted her to come back for a special edition of Raw, and she got all excited on Twitter, and then obviously it was fucking with her, and it was like her.
That's fucking awful.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like people. She was clearly haunted by demons, but she was also very. She was treated very poorly by a lot of people, and obviously, hopefully, she can find whatever peace she didn't find here, wherever she is.
So.
Yeah, I was always a fan. I thought she had a great look. I thought the little punk rockerness of it was a little bit different than everything we saw at that point in time. As far as her in-ring, I mean, I think she was as good as what they trained her. They took a model in a Diva Search contest, But I thought at one point she was a little bit over, and like I said, I enjoyed seeing her on TV. I think it just sucks when you hear about stuff like this. It's just, sometimes this business can eat you up alive, and we've seen it a lot, maybe too often lately.
So a fond farewell, and hope you rest in peace, Ashley. So we're going to move on to some better and brighter things. And we do that for the last week, for a while, talking about chicks. And this week was our final of the Rundown Hottest WWE Female Talent Tournament. Of course, it was Peyton Royce versus Alexa Bliss. And I just want to take a second to thank everybody. These past couple of months have been phenomenal. This tournament had a grand total of 28,100 votes. That's amazing, and we can't thank you guys enough. This week, we wound up having a total of 1,325 votes to decide the champion. So, Jason.
Yes.
Who is hottest?
Mandy Rose.
Sal.
Wait, you meant in the tournament, or just?
Yes.
I thought you meant in general.
No, I'm talking about who you picked to win the tournament.
I picked Mandy Rose to win, but I was clearly wrong. You mean of the final two?
Yes.
Okay, the final two. I said it on Revisited last night. I'll reiterate it again. I know it's probably the minority opinion here, but I went with Peyton Royce. I think since she redid her hair, her hotness quotient's gone way up, and then factor that in with the accent, and I'm all in.
Sal.
I agree with everything Jason had just said, but There's something. There's a reason they call her the goddess. I went with Alexa Bliss.
All right. I also went with Alexa Bliss. So, with 822 votes to 503 votes,
Oof.
62% of the votes, and the winner of the inaugural Hottest Female Talent Tournament, Alexa Bliss.
Amazing.
That's right. Now, let's take a second to talk about the top 10 vote getters. All right, this is in just their single matchups. Round 4, Alexa Bliss with 1,275. Round 5, Alexa Bliss with 1,246. That's right, she has the top 2 spots.
Wow.
Round 4, Paige with 1,127. Round 4, Liv Morgan, 1,079. Round 3, Liv Morgan, 1,004. So 4th and 5th spot for her. Round 3, Paige with 929. Round 3, Alexa Bliss, 863. Round 6, Alexa Bliss, 822. Round 4, in a losing effort, Zelina Vega, 817. And the 10th highest vote getter, round 3, Toni Storm, 756. So very diverse group of people with those vote totals. Peyton was right under that then with a bunch of hers. So again, like I said, 28,000 votes in the grand total of the tournament is awesome.
Holy shit. That's amazing.
We know who wasn't paying attention a second ago. Thank you again to everybody who took the time to go to rundownwrestling.com and vote. If you are much like our former boss Adam, you might be interested in the next tournament that we have starting.
Or any of our wives.
Or any of the wives, yep. Because right now, you can go to rundownwrestling.com and vote on the hottest male WWE talent tournament.
Because we are equal opportunity here on the Rundown.
We are, definitely. We decided to do this one a little bit differently. Instead of doing the single matchups sparsed out throughout the week, we are doing one post that, like I said, you can go to rundownwrestling.com, and it will have 8 different matchups, as well as a nice little slideshow of the matchups so you can see the guys head-to-head. So if you are curious about the bracket or are curious about who our wives would pick, you can go ahead and listen to Ladies Night, which just dropped this Monday. I was the host of it, did not give my opinions on any of these ones for obvious reasons, because I'll be here every week, so I'll be telling you exactly what I feel anyways. I was joined by my wife, Jason's wife, and Ginger's wife. Wound up being one of the most fun shows I've ever done, that I've ever hosted, and can't say enough about how great it was and why you should go to rundownwrestling.com, check that out, listen to it, and then go ahead and vote. Even this isn't even about your sexual preference. You can just enjoy. You can objectively look at 2 dudes and think one is hotter than the other one. So please vote. Please vote.
And, like I said, we're doing this because we want to make sure we're being inclusive. And we are going back to hot chicks later, so don't worry. We're coming back to that, no doubt.
Right.
But I can't stress enough and reiterate what Troy said. Go check out the Ladies Night podcast. It was fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
I put it over on the Rundown on the NXT Revisited last night. I'll do it again. Troy's wife steals the show, hands down. But yeah, no, it was tremendous. I was fortunate enough to see the live show, which was fantastic, and it's even better in audio formats.
For sure. So our first set of matches, our first 8
You
matches.
get if you listen to the Ladies Night thing, you'll actually get to hear the exact moment that my wife first sees Xavier Woods' penis.
That's true.
And it's very her genuine reaction.
Mm-hmm. So our first matchups. So now this.
Let me just, before we get through that, just real quick, to catch up on the side. John said he voted for Peyton, even though she knocked out Liv. Also said that he loves that we put the Usos against each other, particularly given that he couldn't definitively say which is which.
Yeah. Yes,
And I told you that gimmick would get over.
it is. It is.
It did get over.
Yeah. So this one here, the male rundown hosts here proceeded to vote on who they felt was the hottest, and we seeded the roundups based on that. The only thing that we switched was to make sure that the Usos could be together, but that was just more for the lulz. But yeah, so obviously these first couple of matchups, there's going to be a couple of people that are going to be foregone conclusions, but a couple of them are going to be a little bit more difficult. So Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari, which is very funny if you think about it. It just wound up happening that way. John Cena versus Rey Mysterio. Xavier Woods versus Primo Colon. Cedric Alexander versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Roode versus Big E. I'm going with Bobby Roode, not Robert Roode at this point, because this is when I made the tournament. And Tyler Breeze versus Kevin Owens. Those are your first 8 matchups. Go over to RundownWrestling.com right now. Vote on there. And we will have the winners next week, as well as our next 8 matchups after that. So, let's go ahead and get right into a little thing we like to call the Perfect 10. That way we don't have to edit it in. All right.
The fucking guy got really. They ain't with the company anymore anyway, so.
It's true.
And his fiance lost the hottest woman tournament too.
That's
Jeez.
true. Although they're getting married in August, I guess.
That's what I heard.
Good for him. So, Nicole Cross would like to personally invite you to participate in an event. Play with Nikki! So Nikki Cross magically showed up on Raw, and at first we got a backstage segment between her and Alexa, where Alexa sort of plays her. Nikki says, "I've been here for 3 weeks and nobody noticed," which I thought was a nice little dig. Because she hasn't been. She wasn't assigned to a brand after the brand split,
Right.
and just wound up showing up. So Alexa says that her gear is not there, so she can't wrestle. Dean Ambrose wrestled in jeans and a t-shirt. I don't know what gear you really need to wrestle, but
Well, I mean, she had that whole shoe malfunction against Naomi a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she can't even wrestle in shoes that aren't hers.
right.
And later we found out she can't wrestle in a ladder match either. So
Yeah, exactly. So Nikki Cross was put into the Fatal 4-Way at the end of the night. Nikki, being a much more subdued, calm Nikki Cross during her promo, proceeded to be the exact same wrestler she's always been, which isn't a bad thing. We love Nikki Cross, but you couldn't change your wrestling style a little bit to match kind of your new character development?
see, to me, it wasn't the wrestling style. Is that she came out and the character was the same, just a little more dolled up. She was still had the same gear, same music, same sort of crazy entrance. It was like they just took crazy Nikki Cross, put some makeup on her, and said, "Now you're someone different."
Right.
And there was nothing different about her except she had a little glam session.
Yeah, and she talked a little bit more calm when she was backstage.
Yeah,
That was about it.
yeah.
But this wouldn't be the end of it, because we found out that Alexa Bliss is not cleared to wrestle at Money in the Bank, and Nikki Cross will be taking her place. So what?
Just weird. I mean, am I the only one that finds that really fucking strange? Like, why? Alexa's been cleared. She's been wrestling.
Right.
All of a sudden now, I mean, I guess maybe you could sit there and say that you're a little nervous of putting her, because of her concussion issue recently, into a ladder match, but she was in it last year. And if you had that concern, why the fuck did you put her in it in the first place?
Yeah, I think I do have some questions on how severe of an injury it is, because, like you said, I mean, she wrestled a dark match, and she wrestled at the house shows and stuff like that. This is the first we heard that she was injured. So, but yeah, like you said, I mean, we haven't
I believe
consistently.
she wrestled a dark match on Raw this week, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when she was removed from the match,
Yeah.
Nikki Cross put into it. So
And then they had her climb the ladder after Nikki Cross. Like, so
Yeah.
you got to think at that point the plan was for her to still be in the match, because they made a point of having her go up and get the briefcase.
I think. I mean, unless this turns into an angle where Nikki tries to hand the briefcase to Alexa after winning it, I I don't know. It's very weird because if they saw anything that they didn't like medically, why wouldn't they just do a gimmick to have her lose her opportunity on Raw?
Right.
You know. So it is strange. It almost does feel like some type of a storyline device, but I don't know. There's no reason. Like you said, she's been wrestling, so I don't know why all of a sudden she would not be cleared for the match.
Yeah, and that's the word that WWE is giving us, is that she's not cleared, obviously.
Right.
So take that for what it is, and yeah, it definitely it strikes for like they had a plan and then they changed the plan, and they can't think of a better way to do this. So instead, they have somebody who didn't mention that she was hurt, and we didn't do anything on TV to make her get hurt. Then suddenly she's just not medically cleared. So it would have made more sense if she would have been jumped after, you know, the match, because then you could be like, oh, the attack that, you know, it brutalized her, or, you know, if you had Johnny Gargano come after her and attack her, you know, that that works too. But at least do something other than just like, oh nope, she's hurt.
By the way, this whole thing with Nikki, and we're gonna get into some things later on about who's writing this shit, but I'm almost wondering if they filmed that pre-tape and then they saw it and they were like, no, just do what you normally do, because that was just not good. Which I didn't think it was bad, but there was no signs of anything in her match that she was a different persona or character or anything.
Even in the pre-tape, she was still wearing her old gear. So I mean,
right.
John says that he's pumped that Nikki's going to be in the Money in the Bank match, and he thinks that they'll sprinkle some of the crazy back in gradually, and you know, yeah.
I can see that.
Who knows? Yeah, could be.
All right. So we found out, unless you guys had anything else to say about that topic.
No, I think the perfect 10 this week is sort of an appetizer, because I think this is one of those cases where, much like a pay-per-view, we're all just waiting until we get to this main event, because we got a lot to unwrap.
Well, there's a couple things in the perfect 10 that we will be enjoying talking about, but go ahead.
All right, so Just Desserts, the Saudi Arabia show, Just Deserts, see, it's a joke. See, it sounds good. Got some matches booked for it. We found out that The Undertaker will face off against Goldberg. We found out Triple H will face off against Randy Orton. What would you rather have, Sal? Because last year I specifically remember you being upset that they put
Taker against Rusev.
Yeah, and buried a young talent. So would you rather have him face off against a young talent, or would you rather have him face off against an old guy and have it be a match that doesn't matter?
Can he just retire?
It's up to him. He can retire anytime he wants. He doesn't have to work anymore.
I just the past few times I've seen him work, it doesn't really work. So
we also found out there will be a 30-man battle royale. I'm not sure if it is a Royal Rumble or if it's just a throw 30 fucking dudes in there. And then, like I said, Triple H versus Randy Orton, because that's what everyone's clamoring for. So obviously we know what Just Deserts is. It's a way to appease the guys that behead gay people, as opposed to the guys that just take away rights of gay people in America here. But yeah, so is there anything at all that's of those three matches that makes you want to watch this?
Nope. I mean, if it was Taker and Goldberg 10 years ago, maybe.
right.
But I mean, we've seen what Taker is now. I mean, Goldberg was still what he was, but I mean, you're still talking about 2-3 minute matches. It's not like they're gonna you can get all hyped up for the names, but you know what you're gonna get in ring, and it's not gonna deliver. So,
Right.
meh.
And you know, Triple H and Randy Orton. I mean, if there was maybe more story to it,
Right.
but I mean, again, I know that there's a lot of built-in story there to it, but we're probably not going to get very much build to this on TV, because I know Triple H is going to be showing up every week. And you know
I mean, in all seriousness, they named it the Super Showdown. They gave it the same fucking name as the show they did on Australia a couple months ago. So it's not even like Super Showdown 2. It's just like it's the same fucking show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get to some other guys. I'm sure what they're working on right now is a lot of I think this year is going to be the year that a lot more of the talent say no.
Yeah.
Because Obviously, last year we had Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wouldn't have been allowed in there anyways.
Right.
But obviously, Daniel Bryan was the big one who said, "I'm not going to it." Was it Cena too? Cena did it as well, right?
Yeah, Cena
Cena
pulled
was-
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now
He was actually
He
booked.
was
originally.
scheduled, and then
Yeah, so I think this year we're definitely going to see a lot more of them be much more vocal because of the backstage environment as it is right now. I know a lot of them had kind of said in secretly that they weren't happy about having to fly over to Saudi Arabia and work in that country. And yeah, I think a lot more of them now are to the point where they're just like, fuck it, I'm putting my foot down. I'm not going to work the event. So that's why we've only been booked the matches that we know people are actually going to show up. And one of the matches, we know there's 30 people, but we don't know those 30 people. So
Right.
isn't it 50 people?
it was 30 is what I read. 50 people
That
was
was
the
I heard-
greatest Royal Rumble.
I heard this has a 50 man.
It might
battle
be.
royal.
Problem is, how are you going to fit 50 men in a ring to start a battle royal?
Well,
like,
it depends on if they're doing a Royal Rumble style battle royal or if they're doing a all in the ring at the same time Royal Rumble.
And
I
they
think they're
could-
probably doing a Royal Rumble style, and they just don't want to say Royal Rumble.
Right.
probably.
They
Because
don't
then Braun has to defend his big green belt.
want- Do you think you can find it?
No, he probably left it there. He probably wasn't allowed to leave with
Oh,
it.
That would be fantastic if they had a match for that belt, though.
Wouldn't it be? Just out of the blue, like on a random SmackDown, or back on Just Desert.
No, it can only be defended in Saudi
They
Arabia.
will need to okay, all right, fair enough.
Like, we weren't going to hold this show, guys, but he has to defend that title once a year, or else they strip him of it,
Yeah, I mean,
and they dismember him and chop him up into tiny little pieces. And
right. Yeah.
It's funny they're doing Randy and Triple H, though, because I'm a little bit surprised it's not just Brock and Triple H.
He's not even.
I figured they were going to go with that, but you know what? And would it shock you if Brock's like, no, I'm not fucking going over there again, dude?
He's already.
Brock's
he's
all
already
about
been
the
paid. He's already been paid. He's going to be on. They just haven't announced his matchup yet.
Yeah.
So, but I assume that they're not doing that because Triple H would probably want to win.
Mm.
So
I assume he'll probably do a rematch with Seth Rollins.
most likely.
John says nothing on the show matters, so he shrugs. I feel the same
Yeah,
way.
I
That's
mean,
true.
It would be a little bit different if this was canon, but it's not really canon. I mean,
Right, exactly.
we didn't.
Well, there's no stakes either. I mean, even
Yeah.
last time they went there, they did the Best in the World tournament, which turned into a joke. So,
Well, and like, I mean, Beast with the yeast infection was kind of the same thing, where nothing of purpose happened on the show, and they didn't even mention it afterwards. So
well, Finn Balor won the title at Beast in the East. He beat Kevin Owens for it.
Oh,
the
that's
NXT
right.
Championship
For
in
the
Japan.
NXT Championship, yep.
Right.
But for the main roster, nothing happened on the main roster, so
No, I think the New Day got beat up by Brock, actually, if I remember correctly. So,
probably.
And let's not forget Buddy Murphy won the Cruiserweight title at the Super Showdown in Australia.
well, it was his home. He was back in Melbourne, in front of his hometown. So I get that, and that was great, and that was a great moment for him. I'd never actually watched it, but I saw clips.
Do you think they'll send the Daivari brothers back to Saudi Arabia this year?
Oh my God! Remember that? Jesus Christ!
Well, depending on what happens at Money in the Bank here, one of them might have a championship belt. So,
That's a good point.
but let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of Braun, Braun Strowman was put into a match against Sami Zayn, and if Sami beat him, Braun would be removed from Money in the Bank and be replaced by Sami Zayn. So Sami wound up getting a shit ton of help in this. Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin both came out, assisted in the beatdown. It took them far more than it should have. Before Sami finally pins Braun Strowman, eliminates him from Money in the Bank, and Sami Zayn is now in Money in the Bank ladder match. I, for one, obviously am happy about this because I didn't, as I mentioned last week, I didn't like past winners being in it anyways. So here we eliminate somebody who's a past winner, and I didn't really care for Braun Strowman being in it either because he's not going to be able to do a lot of those moves that need to be done for it to be a really good show. Braun is a slower kind of, a big ass fucking superstar, and to me that always kind of drags down when the match is supposed to be really fast paced and really kind of hard hitting and shit like that. But Jason, what's your opinion on Sami replacing Braun?
For one of the few times in this week or the last few weeks we're at the shows, I'm going to say something and say that I fucking loved this for a lot of reasons. Some of which you pointed out. I wasn't a fan of Braun being in this in the first place, but there was a lot of other stuff I liked about this too. I like that Sammy got a win back on Braun, because that's not something Braun hasn't been pinned very often, even with fuckery. So it is sort of a big show of trust of Sami Zayn that they did have him get that win. I love the fact that Sammy's in this match. He should be. He deserves to be. And I think his new character will play really well as a potential winner of this match. I think it adds another person I can see as a potential winner to this match, so I like that part of it. I loved the involvement of the other people, because it made sense that they would want Braun Strowman out of the match in Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, so it was logical. And I loved that it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they actually went outside of the ringside area, which is not always something they do in those Falls Count Anywhere matches. So I was a big fan of this all the way around.
All right. Right on. Sal?
So there's two sides to this, because I thought they did a great job with Sammy this week, and it all made sense, to Jason's point. Having Drew and Baron help him, and the visuals and the concession stands and out in the arena and stuff. It was great, and I love Sammy in this position. But on the other side of the coin, I would have rather them just name Sammy off the bat, and he could have talked all this shit for a couple weeks about how when he wins the Money in the Bank, this, that, and the other thing. Braun is really quickly becoming the new Big Show. They're never going to do anything with him. He's not going to win a world
Big
title.
Show's a multiple-time world champion.
Yeah, and so he's not even going to be at that level.
Right.
He's just going to be a guy that, maybe he destroys cars and stuff like that, and that's it. And it's kind of weird, because when Braun was really rising and getting that push, we all thought, like, that's the next Universal Champion.
The bigger question is, does he get to Great Khali status?
It might be. You might see him.
Khali's a world champion, so...
Well, maybe he turns into the Khali Comedy Hour, because what is the point of Braun these days?
Braun Strowman kiss cam.
Nice. All right.
Now there's an early favorite for the title of the episode.
Yep.
Hold on a second. I forgot I'm editing. I have to write this shit down. Also, I was trying to figure out I've never noticed that my Skype camera is reversed. I'm backwards.
Looks normal to me.
It looks normal
Must just
to
be.
you?
Yeah.
Because on YouTube it's backwards. Well, on my screen it's backwards. So
you're
it must,
looking at
it
it.
must show me backwards and then show you forwards, but it makes it look fucking weird on the...
Yeah, it's backwards on the YouTube for me too,
Yeah.
but it's normal on my Skype. So
Okay. Just wondering. Alright, so we learned on SmackDown the name of Kairi Sane and Asuka, and it is the Bukaki Warriors. Oops, sorry, Kabuki Warriors. So this brought up, of course, a lot of the computer jockeys saying, "Oh, it's racist because they use Kabuki in the name, and oh, of course they just named him something Japanese and blah blah." So Paige had to come out and be like, "Look, morons, these two chose the name. Like they were the ones who said we want to use Kabuki. Well, they wanted to use Kabuki Girls,
right.
and they said no, that sounds like a porno, and probably is.
Yeah.
How about Kabuki Warriors?" And they're like, "That's great." And that's when the name was born.
And Asuka apparently said that there's a big influence of Kabuki in her character. So
Yes. And that's true, because if you look at what a Kabuki is, it's somebody with bright colors and, and wears a mask and things like that. Yeah,
and wears a thong on the outside of their clothes.
Yeah, very much so. So, again, like, instantly, just the reactions that we get off this kind of shit, where it's just like, oh, it's WWE throwing on their racist. It's so fucking annoying on that shit.
Okay, John brings up a great point on the side. He's like, I don't care about the name. I just hate the mashup of their theme songs. And God, is that
Exactly.
fucking awful.
You
Oh my
have-
God.
Like, you have two motherfuckers that all they do is make music for your company.
Is it wrong that I want them to come out to the horribly racist Orient Express theme?
Yeah, at least that would be something. I mean, have them like somebody call Baby Metal. And
It was like every Japanese wrestler's theme song in the 90s.
just
I was gonna say 80s, but Jesus.
I
just
believe Orient Express was the 90s, wasn't it?
89? I don't remember. Maybe they were fighting the Rockers in 91. But go ahead.
just give a call over to Baby Metal and be like, "Hey, can you do a like heavy metal version of Turning Japanese?" And they're like, "Yeah." All right, sold. We got our new theme song.
Or just take Shinsuke's old music.
There you go.
Right? I'd mark out so big for that.
Or have the group that made Shinsuke's new music make something for them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things you could do. You know, I wasn't a huge fan when they mashed up fucking Goldust and Cody Rhodes theme songs together for that too. I know some of the other hosts were big fans of that shit, but I always think that's kind of stupid. It's so lazy. I mean,
Yeah, it's a cop out. It really is.
I mean, me and Jeff watched the second episode of Heat, and right there they've got Kane, and Kane's music starts, and then X-Pac music hits after that, and it's like,
oh gosh.
it's so fucking lazy. Like, do a new song. You have two
Right.
people on staff that you could just be like, hey, we need a new song for two Asian chicks, and they're like, done. We'll make it racist.
Right. I mean, they're not awful mashing up things either. Like usually, like Sheamus and Cesaro. I think that's a decent mashup. It's really just the very beginning of Cesaro's, and then it just goes into Sheamus's new theme. But
I think at first it was much more of a mashup, though, that it switched back
Right.
and forth.
and maybe they will. Maybe they'll iron this out with Asuka and Kyrie. But yeah, the music is fucking awful. It doesn't go together right now. The name, I'll admit.
I will say this: if they did if they just started with Kyrie's do 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 do, and then went right into Asuka's,
Yeah,
that'd be fine.
absolutely.
But it's the fact that they then switch back to Kyrie's, which is nowhere near the same type of song as Asuka's. So
Not
it's
the same
awkward.
tempo. It's not the same type
Right.
of song. It's completely just juxtapositioning against each other.
Well, and the other thing too is like, okay, so if you're gonna be the Bukkake Warriors now, why is Kyrie still a pirate?
Because reasons. Same reason she was a pirate to start with.
I mean, like, she should morph now more into the Kabuki kind of thing, right? 'Cause-
She might.
Well,
give
she's
it a few
she's a
weeks,
yachting
might, though.
enthusiast.
I mean, I don't think she will because they're not going to give up that pirate gimmick going into WrestleMania 36. But
well, then
She's a yachting enthusiast. Motherfucker, I have driven by Boston Yacht Club. There's not one Jolly Roger flag anywhere, motherfuckers, okay? You don't need to be a fucking pirate because you like yachting. It's not the fucking same thing.
you know, you could change that. Go out, buy a boat, throw a Jolly Roger up top of it, make one of those little mastheads on the front of it, make it look like Kyrie Sane. Good to go.
If my name was Roger, I would definitely call my penis the Jolly Roger.
Alright, well, John does say that she didn't have the navigation wheel this week, so maybe they are transitioning her out of being a pirate. But I guess we'll see.
You could really spread around the Bukkake with that wheel, you know.
That's true. As long as you time it right. I mean, if you spin it right as it's coming for you, it's just gonna like it's all over the place.
But let me ask you this: Do you think they go all out? Do you think they start coming
I think
out?
that they start?
like anal?
Do I think that they start blowing loads in their faces? Probably not.
No, I mean like with the gimmick, with the whole Kabuki Warrior gimmick. Like, do they come down with kimonos? Do they get Paige involved, or is she just still going to look the exact same? And
well, I mean, Asuka comes out with a variation on a kimono now.
right, but I'm talking about both of them would be, probably better since they're a tag team.
I don't know. Sheamus never came out with a tuxedo that he ripped off.
That would have been great.
Didn't he?
No.
No, they just both started wearing kilts though.
Oh, I thought he did the tear off as well.
I don't believe so.
All right, whatever.
Just have visions of Sheamus tearing off his clothes, apparently.
Hey man, I mean the dude does it for the ladies apparently.
Yeah, they like the translucent men,
They like to transition in.
especially your wife.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that women love, Roman Reigns is now the top star on both brands. I know now, temper yourself here because we're going to talk about it in the main event. But Roman being the top star on both brands obviously is just the tip of an iceberg of a bigger issue. But again, we've talked about it numerous times now about them needing to make new stars and just having one guy be the fucking focal point on two shows. Not the way to make new stars. Sal.
What really pissed me off this week was that we opened both shows with pretty much the exact same segment. You had promoted right before Raw that Roman Reigns was going to be a guest on Miz TV. Okay, fine. I get the gimmick. Roman's coming over in the wild card, whatever. They do about a 15-minute segment, the whole fucking nine. And then on SmackDown, we literally started the show pretty much the exact same way, only Roman came out first and invited out Miz. To make matters worse, they doubled down, and now they have this 10-minute video package for Roman pretty much going through his entire career and his struggle with leukemia. And look, I get it. I know what this dude went through, but this timing on this is just really random. He's not going for a title right now. In fact, his opponent at Money in the Bank is Elias. What does any of this have to do with Elias?
Well, Elias interrupted him in both shows.
Elias has a cancer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just think everybody's already assuming that you're just going to put Roman right back into the spot he was before he left. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. The guy is a top guy, but Jesus Christ, could you be a little bit less blatant about it?
They're in the process of booing the giant fucking plate of money that was put in front of them, unfortunately, due to what Roman had to go through. They had the potential to come in, tell a great story, make him a legitimate, sympathetic babyface, and they threw that all out the window as soon as the referee's hand hit the mat for 3 at WrestleMania and he beat Drew McIntyre. He's back to getting booed because he's being pushed like fucking Superman again. The story you should have told was he comes back, he's still dealing with the remnants of his illness, he's a step slower, he's not the same guy, he has self-doubt, he's losing matches everywhere, and then you tell the redemption story. Instead, they skipped through all that, went back to, he's just back to fucking beating everybody. See you later, folks. And now guess what? Folks are back to doing what they were doing before the illness.
Right. You're absolutely right. And why wouldn't you want to do the redemption story? It's such an easy story to tell. It is, apparently, they just have no patience. They want him right back, and they're going to do what they want, I guess. So.
Well, I mean, part of that is, they look at him as a top star, so right now they're in this big rating slump, so they're going to continue to do this because they're so fucking afraid of, chasing away the little bit of ratings that they can gain here and there. But they don't realize that that's also driving ratings down, is by doing that, and like you said, Jason, I mean, I give him a little bit of credit for not thrusting Roman right into the fucking main event scene at WrestleMania. But again, put him against somebody else than Drew McIntyre. There was no reason for that. We've kind of said everything about that. So now you're going to put him against Elias, another guy that you have just decided that you're never going to fucking utilize to any potential. Where he's out there, he gets TV time, but he loses everything. He doesn't go for any championships, and he's just another stepping stone before Reigns eventually, The biggest thing that you'll have to look for here, other than obviously who wins the Money in the Bank, is if Kevin Owens wins that title. Because if Kevin Owens wins that title, Roman Reigns is coming for him next.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah, because there was no way that they can put Roman Reigns against Kofi Kingston. It will not work.
My only counter to that is that this whatever they're building with Shane seems like a longer program So that would take his time, possibly until SummerSlam. Because they keep going back and forth with him and Shane. So maybe that does keep Roman occupied for a few months. But then again, like you said, maybe he shows up on Raw and challenges Seth at this point. Like,
Shane McMahon has been on every pay-per-view this year.
yeah.
Jason,
Yes.
anything to say more about Roman Reigns before we move on?
No, I mean, like I said, I think this was a huge missed opportunity, and I will forever not understand the way they've chosen to book this guy. This is a guy they want to be their top star, and they've shot themselves in the foot of accomplishing that goal at every possible opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about something that we actually enjoyed. We got...
The only John on the side said the only thing they're doing right with Roman is keeping him away from the title scene, and I do agree with that.
Right, and I agree with that as well. But again, we'll see how long that lasts.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, Bray Wyatt had another episode of his Firefly Funhouse, which, you know, I've talked about how happy I am that they found a use for Paige, and how happy I am that they've been that they've allowed Bray to do this very thing. And I said from the start, I was balls deep in on this. I was excited for it. I was excited to see where it was going to go. I said that everyone needs to give it a little time. That this isn't what WWE normally does. Normally they fucking shoot their load all over the fucking Bukkake Warrior's face. But instead, they're actually allowing something time to progress and build, and get you anticipation for that moment. I know it wasn't as long as it probably could have been, but 3 weeks of him doing vignettes is better than him appearing in this persona the first fucking night of this, which is something that they have done before. So, Bray talked about... See, Jason is very excited that Bray Wyatt got this chance. Bray kind of explains that he's got a little friend with him that he's been talking to. He referred to it as the Darkness, and then proceeded to decide it was time to let the Darkness out. And we had a transformation of Bray into... a character from Twisted Metal Black, Sweet Tooth, mixed with a Juggalo, mixed with the Joker, and it was amazing.
And Crazy Steve.
Yep, he was thrown in there a little bit too. So Bray has a clown mask on now, and complete with clown outfit, which I'm not sure how...
Like a leather duster.
Like a leather, yeah, he definitely got the duster from Sunny in Philadelphia.
I stole it from Mac.
Yep. He's got the carnival pants on. We'll see what happens when he actually gets in the ring, if he has decided to change up his wrestling or not. We have said it before. A lot of these times, these gimmicks get changed, and people get into new gimmicks of that, and then they are the exact same in the ring. And we just talked about it with Nikki Cross, that she, did nothing to change how it was. We had talked about it with, you look at somebody like Cody Rhodes, who became Stardust and wrestled completely fucking different. And that's what you want to see from guys when they do these big time changes, Even if it's just like little tweaks here and there. But oftentimes it just winds up being, it's the same old fucking shit, So I'm tempering my expectations on his actual in-ring work. But Jason, let's hear what you had to say, what you felt about the actual segment here.
I fucking loved this. I thought it was different. It was visually interesting. It was compelling. It was creepy. It had By the way, did anyone else notice that it was a little bit tweaked on SmackDown from what it was on Raw? On SmackDown they had the whole twinkle twinkle little star part, and
they had that on Raw.
I didn't see it on Raw. Maybe I missed it. It seemed like there was a little bit added to it on SmackDown, but maybe I just didn't catch the whole thing on Raw. I don't know. I might have been so sort of thrown off by the shocking nature of the switch, because I didn't know they were going to go that sort of horror inspired with it, you know.
Right.
So that was a little jarring in a very good way. I agree. I agree with Troy. I think they do need to alter some of the mannerisms and how he wrestles. To me, the ideal scenario with this is sometimes we get Bray Wyatt kids host wrestling, and this is an alter ego, very sort of similar to Finn Balor and the Demon, but maybe the evil counterpart. And rather than that whole shitty Sister Abigail thing we were fed, maybe somewhere down the line we get the dark Bray Wyatt versus the Demon in what would be awesome. But I think that's sort of the way I want to see this go, is sort of a split personality character.
Yeah, I don't want to see him do the little reverse crab walk thing, because that was old Bray Wyatt. I as much as I enjoy Sister Abigail's finishing move, I think he should have a brand new finishing move. And I think that he has an opportunity to be really aggressive in the ring, which obviously we didn't get a whole lot of when he was Bray Wyatt. So that's what I want to see. I want to see a brand new move set from him, which is something that we don't often see from guys when they do these kinds of gimmick changes. John, said it as well, that Finn doesn't make the Demon feel different, and we've discussed that in the show too, where he dresses up and then proceeds to wrestle the exact same way.
It's the same entrance, like.
Yeah, the worst thing is the commentators with Finn tell us that, he's more aggressive when he's the Demon. Yeah. He's not. He's the same fucking moveset and speed. It's jarring how much that's a lie.
I will say, as the Demon, I think he's a little more, what's the word, frantic.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, like I said, I mean, there's moves he should only use when he's the Demon. There's certain things. I mean, like even so much as just like if he just throws someone in the corner and just stomps the fucking living hell out of them, at least it's something, to kind of show like, oh, he is like completely off the fucking rails right now, and I think that Bray has an opportunity to do that.
So here's one thing though I do find entertaining. At one point on this show, not too long ago, everyone was all up the ass of the production staff because they did a promo backstage where Finn was there talking, and then the smoke came in, and he turned into the Demon, and he had his tongue out, which I know is offensive to a lot of people. But this wasn't much different than that. It's Bray, he turns around, they got to the creepy dolls, and then all of a sudden he's a completely different character. But it worked. Like, I didn't have as big a problem with some of you with the Finn thing as some of you guys did. In fact, I really had no problem with it. But I know some of you guys did, and some of you guys who did have a problem with that are now saying you love this, and I sort of don't know where that difference is for you.
If I may, because this is going to tie into my opinion on this whole segment. The night after Mania, Troy, as you said, if you shove this Bray Wyatt in our face with the mask, probably a lot of people are going to be like, that's fucking stupid. It's just Bray. Now he has a mask. You spend 5 weeks of TV putting out these little clues, and it's 5 because the first thing we saw was the buzzard puppet come out of the box, to which I'll be the first one to admit I was very skeptical of. What is this now? A puppet? What are we doing here? And then they started the Firefly Funhouse, and every week got more and more intriguing. And I knew this week was going to be a big deal because he had mentioned it on Twitter, but I was never expecting what we got. Like you said, for them to go that horror route, and it's done so beautifully too. Just the way his face changed when he was like, "You want to see my secret?" and the way the puppets interacted with him when the music started changing, everything worked great. And I thought they took all 5 weeks to tell this story. You can't just have him show up in the mask. People wouldn't care. Now people are behind this because you put some thought into it. And the same thing with Finn. He just all of a sudden mid-promo was like, I'm a Demon now. Well, why? We hadn't seen the Demon in months. Like, can't we get, like, if they did a story where he was getting his ass kicked every week and he was like, I need to go, deep into my subconscious and figure out what I need to do to win.
It was. He lost to Lashley several times prior to that match.
Yeah, but they didn't tell that story.
Again,
You know,
They haven't told any stories with Finn yet either. With Bray yet either.
Oh, he's telling the story himself.
Again, my issue with Finn was just that it was out of
The
character.
tongue.
It was the tongue. It was out of character for the established character of the demon. We haven't established Bray's character. That's what we're doing right now.
What was out of character? He just transformed into the demon. That was
I
basically.
didn't have a problem with him transforming into the demon. I had a problem with him sticking his tongue out and going, "Blah!" That was my problem because it felt like a fucking B-movie villain, and that's not what the demon was to me. That was my issue. I had no problem with him transforming into a demon with smoke and everything like that. That's fine. It's supposed to be sort of supernatural. That's fine. My biggest issue was the bad acting and the fucking tongue waggle and how ridiculous it sounded. That was my issue with it.
But how is the tongue waggle any different than the sort of crazy fucking clown mask? I mean, it's
because
different levels of campy, but campy is campy.
Because the demon.
Yeah, but this
wasn't
didn't feel
campy.
campy.
Bray is campy.
Oh,
the demon.
it's
wasn't
campy, dude.
This felt like Bray was taking you for a ride. Like Bray believed 100% in what he was doing. That's the other thing. It felt like Finn was like, all right, I'm doing this because they told me to fucking do it. That being said, I have a different direction for the Bray Wyatt character as far as the in-ring goes. I actually don't want to see him in the ring. I don't. Not yet. Not for a while. Like, build this shit.
That's the mistake they made with Bray the first time, was that he had this supernatural thing, and they kept having him disappear for a while, and then they would randomly cut these cryptic promos on people for weeks on end, and then finally he would jump somebody. The part of the problem with Bray the first time around was that he wasn't around very often.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's the thing, is I think he still needs to be on the show, maybe similar to how he is now, but, and have him target somebody. I don't know who that is yet. I know he's mentioned Seth and Roman on Twitter, but
yeah, but I'm sorry, you can't complain that WWE focuses more on backstage and stuff like that instead of wrestling, and then say that you'd rather Bray not wrestle. So
right.
You got to choose one or the other, man. And it's a wrestling show. Bray's got to wrestle.
I know.
But it made.
But like I said, he should wrestle as the two different characters. Right. I particularly love the hurt and heel gloves, like.
Mm-hmm.
As a thing. Maybe you get him backstage and he's got hurt and heel on one side, and you never know which week is going to win over until he comes out to the ring. Like,
yeah. There's infinite possibilities of where this could go, and it really depends on where Vince decides to let it go. So,
that being said, the initial what we got from what all three of us have heard, is this was all Bray's creative.
We're going to talk about that later.
All Bray's creative, but a big part of it. It was also Matt Hardy and
Jeremy Borash.
Yep.
So
it had Borash's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah. It was those three guys working together. But the one person that was not involved with that is the one person we're going to talk about in a little bit. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about how that piece of shit decided to devalue every single fucking tag belt they have on the show. So, hey Jason.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan and Biodiesel are your SmackDown Tag Champions. Who has a chance to win those tag belts at Money in the Bank?
That would be the Raw tag teams of the Usos.
No, that's a non-title match, sir.
Oh well, that's not possible because you could new champions.
Yeah,
and it's a pay-per-view.
Well, okay.
Which is a little weird though, because the Usos have been mocking and publicly humiliating the Revival to lead to a big match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
but
it's okay though, right? Because the Revival are against the Major Brothers for the Raw titles, right?
Oh, that's got to be it. That's why we're holding off until they win the belts, and then they compete with the Usos for the belts. Got it. Looking forward to that match though.
Actually,
it's
not on my rundown here. So
hold on, let me pull up I'll pull up the Wikipedia.
Okay, all right. While you're there, make sure to also check out who the Iconics are defending against too.
Okay, sure. Just give me 1 second. Okay.
Oh, the Iconics.
Hold on. Let me see. Carry the 7.
Okay.
So, well, this is weird.
What?
I mean, according to this, the Major Brothers aren't even on the show.
What?
Either of the Revival. All right, hold on. The Iconics.
I mean,
Wait a minute, they have to be on the pre-show though, right?
Women's tag. No, no. The Iconics aren't on there either.
Wait, so
Well-
you mean to tell me that we have the Bukkake Warriors already and raring to go, and they're not booked?
No.
Huh.
No. Shane McMahon is wrestling on the show though.
Good.
Is
okay.
he?
Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
That's
Oh, we got Shane in there.
yeah. So,
Yeah, Arya Daivari on the card.
okay.
Wait a minute. The Major Brothers are facing the Viking Raiders, right? That's
No,
the
no,
match?
it's the War Experience.
Oh.
But no, they're not. No,
They're not there either?
No,
Wow.
Huh. It's
no.
almost like Vince McMahon doesn't care about tag teams.
Hmm.
Hmm.
How in the fuck does this happen? How
Because-
how do they
because
manage
Vince.
to not get one fucking tag title match when you have 3 tag belts?
Because Vince.
You know, but before we say because Vince, I am a little bit surprised that they haven't, really the women's tag belts? Like you just fucking introduced that shit 2 months ago.
So remember when everybody got up Sasha's ass because she and Bailey got upset thinking that they switch it to the Iconics was going to lead to a devaluation of those women's tag titles? Well, about that.
The ends don't justify the means on that, because you can be upset about that, but don't fucking quit. All right, like then what you do is you use your position in the company to try to change that. You don't just go, "Well, I'm done," and fucking leave.
Yeah, because, she hasn't dealt with this a bunch of times and fought a bunch of times over her Raw women's titles and losing her title in her hometown in the main events and never having a successful title defense. I mean, it's never been something she's dealt with before. And, the way she's handled it professionally in the past has worked out really well, and it's prevented her from doing that to her again. So...
Jason, you're starting to thread water into the main event.
Well, then why the fuck do you go on Twitter then and pretend that you didn't quit?
Because she didn't quit.
All right.
Wait, now we're believing Tuner Meltzer and Ryan Satin, right? We pick and choose when we believe them or not.
All I'm saying it's odd
I
timing.
mean, but those are the only people that have said she tried to quit. That's where those stories originated from. So I need like a fucking graph or bar graph or something that shows me when it's okay to believe the shit they tell and when we're going to discount it. Because nobody has said she's quit. Nobody said they still mention her on the shows at times. I still think she's taken Dana Brooke's spot in the Money in the Bank match. Still think so. But I just like...
That's fine, but you also just said that Sasha Banks got upset, and that story came from Meltzer and Satin too.
No, I think there's a different... No. There's a difference between being upset with a creative direction and throwing a temper tantrum on the floor, which is what they reported.
Alright.
Lots of people in the company are upset with their booking and the way they're handled.
Oh yeah, that's clear.
We're
Only
getting
the
away
women
from
are
the
accused
topic
of
here,
throwing
though.
temper tantrums on the floor.
Well, that's because Meltzer is a fucking misogynist.
But
I mean, Satin didn't actually say it, right?
No, that's right. yes.
Right.
He didn't actually say
he
it.
never said that.
I typed it. I didn't actually say it.
Well, we're getting off topic here. I mean, what the fuck did Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins do not to get booked on Money in the Bank?
Be themselves.
I mean, yeah, but they're the quintessential yes men. Like they've been doing it for this company for 10 years.
They're the quintessential shit stains who, like, if they don't get booked, it's no big deal. And if they have a title on them or not, it doesn't fucking matter because it's them too.
Let me ask you a question. If Jeff doesn't get hurt, do you think the SmackDown titles make it on the show in a title defense?
Well, yeah, because it's the Hardy Boys.
Then you could kind of excuse the SmackDown title
No,
thing.
you can't.
Because if you just put the titles on Daniel Bryan and Rowan, then who are they going to defend it against?
The Usos, that's fine, but make it a title match. It's a non-title match.
That's the thing.
Why
the
have
Usos aren't on SmackDown.
Why have a non-title match?
Just to get him on the show, I guess. To get Daniel Bryan on the show.
unify the
Dude,
fucking
you
tag
just said
belts.
the Usos aren't on SmackDown. Who the fuck did they beat for the titles on SmackDown?
Well,
It doesn't
wild
matter
card.
this time. then have Brian Danielson and Biodiesel go against the fucking Zack Attack and his gay lover, and unify the fucking belts, because it doesn't matter anymore. You can
Might
just,
as well at this
you can just
point.
throw fucking guys left and right. Having 2 tag team championships when you have fucking 0 tag teams on one show, and 3 or 4 tag teams that you decide not to use on Raw. You were able to throw guys left and right. You can't fucking throw the War Raiders over on SmackDown and have them go against Daniel Bryan and Biodiesel.
I don't think you want to do that yet. If you want to build Rowan and Bryan as champions, you don't want to throw them against the team that you have.
Right.
Long
Put them
term
against the
expectation.
fucking B team.
Sure.
Or the Colognes.
Or heavy
But
machinery.
would you rather? Hold on.
backstage
This is
segment.
where I'm. This is where I'm going to take a slight objection here. As a wrestling fan who is putting in their money to watch this pay-per-view,
Pre-show.
I would far rather, it's still going to be on the network that I pay for. I would still far rather watch Daniel Bryan and Rowan take on the Usos than take on the B team.
But make it a title match.
Even if it's not I would rather watch the Usos in a non-title match than the B team in a title match.
They gave you that. See? They gave you Daniel Bryan. He's going to be wrestling at this pay-per-view. Yay, Daniel Bryan!
Yeah, he's in a tag team match because of the fact that his brain is so scrambled they don't fucking trust him as a singles guy anymore. Same
John
reason
said
why Sheamus was in his tag team. Go ahead.
John says the club isn't doing anything. Actually,
True.
the club would be a great matchup for Bryan and Rowan. They're very similar
Yeah.
sort of makeups.
Excuse me, the club is on Raw. No.
All right.
Wild card, bitches!
I know.
All right. I have no say in this because I've lost a lot of steam on this guy. But Jason threw this one in here, so he wants to talk about it. Aleister Black got over in
No, I
NXT.
changed it.
Oh, you don't have the updated one. Yeah, he changed it.
Sorry, changed that on you. I added. Let's get our thoughts on the wild card rule after week 2.
Okay. My thoughts on the wildcard rule is it's still dumb and needs to end. You need to build stars on the show. That's the whole reason that they did the brand split in the first place. Was because that's how Batista became a top fucking star. Because you got him out from under John Cena and put him on his own show. That's how Edge became a fucking star on his own. That's how JBL wound up selling some merchandise because he was on his own show like that. Stop putting fucking Roman Reigns and The Miz and same fucking people every week on the goddamn both shows because you're taking time away from these new guys that you could actually be building and putting into good storylines. Instead, Kevin Owens has to give us a fucking message from a rent-a-car because he didn't have enough room on the match because we had to get Seth Rollins in on fucking both shows. That's my feeling on the fucking wildcard route. It sucks. Jason,
Okay.
go.
Over and above all that, the element that I think people have missed through this point is what the wild card rule does really do. And you talked about how it affects some of those top guys. It fucking kills the mid card guys. There's just, I mean, forget the guys you talked about. Shinsuke has no fucking TV time now. Rusev, no TV time. Fucking Bobby Roode, just does a heel turn, no fucking TV time to do anything with it. Like, the mid card on both shows is now fucking gone.
We moved 2 of the biggest 205 Live stars over to the main roster, and they haven't been seen because there's no room for them.
No, Cedric lost the first week.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it.
And,
Yeah.
and Buddy Murphy hasn't been on anything.
Yep. And tell me those guys would be fucking great in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
You know what makes everything worse? Because now the top stars are oversaturated, and the pops are going to get less, and people are going to start getting sick of them. Because who wants to see one person twice, like back-to-back nights? For 20-minute segments! I mean, they're not even just sprinkled, like, they're not just, like, starting off the show. No, they're in about 4 or 5 segments each show.
Somebody I heard brought up a great point, and it was, and we're going to talk about AEW in a minute, but AEW was on the horizon, and Vince and they all knew it. And they had an opportunity to cut the wheels out from AEW before it ever started by just booking great shows, by building and focusing on exciting young talent. Take the piss out of AEW before they even announce it. and the potential was there. But instead, Shane's the top heel. Baron Corbin's main eventing every show. It's just the same fucked up formula that we. I'm sorry, I'm treading into the main event again, but yeah, I mean, the wild card is ruining the mid card. Is the big takeaway for me.
When the AEW first announced,
We haven't gotten there yet.
No, but just
we're talking about the wild card rule.
I know, but I'm going to tie it in.
That's not how this works, but okay, go ahead.
When they said, the elite guys are starting their own promotion, and we have yet to see what they're going to do. But if every show that they put out was 45 minutes of the elite, it would be boring. Do you know what I mean? Like, people would just get sick.
You mean like the 25 minutes of their web series, which is one of the most popular web series on YouTube, and is the reason that they're having these pay-per-views and launching a company?
I'm talking about weekly TV.
Okay,
if they were doing
okay. Sal, again, we need to fucking readjust today's paradigm. YouTube is weekly television nowadays.
YouTube has their own streaming service, dude.
More people watch shit on YouTube in the course of a day than watch shit on broadcast television.
The point of watching Being the Elite is because you like those guys. The point of watching AEW is not to see those guys 24/7. And AEW hasn't done that yet. But Vince,
you find me the guy that's going, you know what? Fuck Cody and the Bucks. I'm turning into AEW because I want to see Joey Janela.
What do you watch?
Dude,
everybody tuning into AEW is doing it for Cody, the Bucks, fucking Hangman, and Kenny Omega. It's the fucking elite guys. That's the draw.
Dude, I watch SmackDown for Kevin Owens, and I watch Raw for Seth Rollins, and used to be for Sasha Banks. Like, you watch it for the people you like.
Now that being said, Seth is a perfect example. Are you sick of seeing Seth? Especially against AJ at this point. In these promos that do nothing and are horrible.
Fought AJ at all yet.
Talking about the program that's going into Money in the Bank.
They had one in-ring promo together. They did backstage promos separate this week. And they had a tag team match.
I
don't get where you're saying it's oversaturated.
The top guys in the WWE?
No, Seth and AJ.
Because it's not doing anything.
What do you want it to do?
I don't know, be compelling?
If they go out and do the corny, hokey face versus face, we're in a tag team, we shit all over that. So they're doing it, two guys who are competing because they both want to be the best.
Well, they did do that, and then AJ forearmed him in the face.
Right? And then it was unintentional. AJ, they went through it was unintentional shit, and they cut promos on each other.
Mike Smathers has joined us on the side in the Smathers Lounge, and he says he's tuning into AEW to see Billy Gunn run in when he gets tired of producing.
In that pissant little company.
That's right. All right, so because you've got a hard on for it, you didn't feel like answering the question. AEW announced that they are WCW 2.0 because they are going to be on TNT and Bleacher Report streaming, or Bleacher Report Live, I think is what they call it.
ITV, etc.
Yeah, there's a couple other things, but those are the two main ones. So they will be doing a weekly program on TNT, most likely in October, but they didn't really...
Well, okay. So it's interesting, sorry, I mean to cut you off there, but it is interesting in the way that was worded, because they didn't say they'll be doing a weekly TV show. They said they'll be airing matches weekly on TNT. Weekly,
yeah.
Which is very sort of obscure to me in the way that was worded.
Is
it going to be like, oh, hey, here in between episodes of The Big Bang Theory, here's a special presentation of an AEW match.
See, and I looked at it as they were just showing their house shows, which don't have storylines to it and don't have, obviously they're going to have announcers because they've announced they've got announcers over that. But
right.
Are they doing a show where they're doing like production stuff and doing backstage segments and building things up, stuff like that? Or are they just like, here's the show from fucking Hackensack, New Jersey that we had?
And again, knowing how big they are into production, I imagine they're going to be
going
all out on this. I just thought the wording was very sort of,
Yeah. Well, yes, go ahead.
Sal's already tired of it.
They also said in that press release that they were going to be presenting this in a much more sport-orientated fashion. So
I mean that's hyperbole. They can claim it however they want until we actually see it. I mean,
Right.
WWE talks all the time that they're presenting things in a different way and stuff like that, and it's the same old shit. So right now that's all talk. We'll see what happens. I mean, if they present it as like an actual like fight thing where there's no storylines, like it's a UFC thing, that to me gets boring because that's not what you're tuning into AEW for. You're tuning in for the character development. You're tuning in for the wrestlers and their character development and their work with each other and promos and stuff like that. You're tuning in to watch a wrestling show. You're not tuning in to watch a fake MMA fight, you know?
you're saying it turns into ROH.
Yeah, see and that's my
Hot
issue.
sauce.
So and that's my issue because ROH technically fits into that of we're showing wrestling matches because ROH doesn't actually build anything on their program.
They don't have any good
They just show you the
storyline.
they just show you the house shows that they do. So we'll see what happens with the AEW. Now, obviously, I mean, they could come right out swinging and be like, this is the first episode of AEW. Now we're presenting a championship and things like that. Or they could turn around and begin with just like, here's the shows that we're putting on, and eventually we'll get to that point once we've like built up enough and things, you know, equity in the stars and stuff like that. Who knows? So, you know, we won't know until October. Which, did they say officially that they're premiering in October, or was it just the fall?
They said the fall.
The fall.
Yeah, this is the fall.
Yeah. So
Could be September, you know?
which, and you know, a lot of people were saying like, oh, they signed a TV deal in October. Well, that's not what TNT is saying. So I guess we'll see when that actually happens. But either way, very interesting that, of course, TNT tweets out that they're back in the wrestling game. They proceed to have the AEW logo in front of flames, which is just like, you are really good. Either that's completely intentional or completely unintentionally funny that you're doing that. But yeah, so AEW obviously has their big time, you know, their TV deal. Now, we're not going to get into the actual deal because there's too much speculation on it. There's too much it's this, no it's this, back and forth. We don't fucking know, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is they're going to be on a national cable channel, which is big.
Yeah, what matters is for the first time since WCW died, Vince has legitimate competition with a network television deal.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, the other thing too is, did they say the time limit on it? I don't think they even said how long the show's going to be.
No, they didn't.
Did
Yeah.
not.
So, I mean,
That was, again, you go back to it, they didn't give it a time block, they didn't say anything except matches will air.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird.
right. So either they don't know, or they
Maybe it's going to be to be determined. Like they'll kind of.
Yeah. Again, it felt very.
It'll be on at 2 a.m. between ads for dick pills and fucking
Hey, I'll tell you
Flex
that-
Seal.
TNA would die for a deal with TNT.
Well, yeah, of course.
TNA had a deal with Spike that was very
Yeah,
similar.
but Spike's not TNT, man. Like, this is a big deal.
You are misunderstanding what Spike was at
Yeah.
the time. Spike
Spike-
was
No,
very,
yeah,
very big at the time.
They were a big deal. I just think that it is a huge deal to be on such a, you know, this is a network with a lot of history, and now people our age remember what the Monday Night Wars were like and what Nitro brought to the table, and I think this puts AEW in a good position to start right away. Not like go head to head, but I mean just people are excited about this. That's going to be on TNT.
It goes deeper even than the Monday Night Wars. I mean, wrestling on Turner has been a thing since the Clash of the Champions, way
Yeah.
back in the day, the NWA, before even WCW was a thing. There's history there. There's history that ties Cody to Turner.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack there if you want to get through it. I give them credit. I've been sort of a booster of AEW, and since the initiation, the talk started. I know Troy was very skeptical this was actually going to come to fruition in a meaningful way. I think we're through the looking glass now. I think this is going to be a thing. I think this is going to, at some point down the road, be something that Vince needs to take notice of. The question is, how much does that buzz translate from the people who are already fans of being the Elite and this group to mainstream fans? My other big question is, and then this is the thing that I think a lot of the Elite fans haven't factored in and sort of saying, oh, well, All Elite's going to give us everything WWE doesn't. Now you're on network television, bitches. Now you deal with those network television restrictions
Yep.
that you don't have on your YouTube channel that Vince has to deal with. Standards and practices is now up your ass. You know, you're not going to have Joey Janela in a match where somebody just beats the shit out of Penelope Ford at ringside. Your intergender things are probably going to come to a significant halt. It's a different ballgame now. They're playing in a different league.
Yeah. Well, and Sal brought up the fact that we all remember the Monday Night Wars and TNT and stuff like that. Yeah, that may be, but can you name one show that's on TNT?
Bones.
Basketball.
Bones doesn't exist anymore. That's all they have. That's all
replays.
That's
Big
all
Bang Theory.
They have basketball. They've got a couple other sports over that, and they've got replays of stuff. They don't have any of their own original content anymore.
They still have Franklin and Bash on there.
No, they don't, and that's the thing is like
I love Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Like, of course they got a deal with TNT. This is a great chance for TNT to try to get back into the game because they're falling way fucking behind on all the other cable networks,
Hold on,
Yeah, but USA has original shows, and most of them are crappy. So
they have original programming. TNT doesn't have any original programming. They have the NBA, and they've got all the shows that they purchased. That's not
TBS didn't for a while either, and then they landed Conan.
This is
bad news. I went to TNT.com and it says TNT is now FedEx. Company's gone out of business already. Hold on.
So that's what I'm saying though, is that you say USA has got original shows but they're crap, but they have original shows. They have a reason for people to go and spend money on downloading a streaming service or to
hold on. So I'm on TNT's webpage. I'm under the shows section. We have under all shows we have The Alienist. Anybody ever heard of that show?
Yes, and it's okay, so they do have that show.
Okay, so there's The Alienist, there's Animal Kingdom, which I don't think is an original program.
No, so Animal Kingdom is A&E? A&E, I think. You know what? Alienist is A&E as well. Those are shows
I'm under the TNT section.
Right, but those are shows that they're broadcasting on TNT as well. They're
so it's syndication. They're reruns.
Claws?
Again, same deal.
No idea what Claws is. I Am the Night.
Never heard of that.
Never heard of it either. NBA on TNT. Obviously heard of that. PGA Championship. I ain't watching it, but it's there.
Yep.
The Shatterbox.
No idea.
Which I think is Mickey James's nickname. What is UEFA? Is that like soccer or some shit?
It's probably soccer. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. TNT original, The American Race. Looks like Charles Barkley in black and white. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. There's a original reality show.
They have one original reality show. Awesome.
No. TNT original, Good Behavior.
So you notice how all the rest of the shows you said didn't start with TNT original?
Well, no. TNT original, The Alienist. TNT original, Animal Kingdom.
Just because you're owned by the same network and you show another network shows doesn't mean that's a TNT original.
TNT original, The Last Ship. TNT original, Snoop Dogg, The Joker's Wild. TNT original, Will.
Again, you can watch every episode of Modern Family and Independence Day pretty much any day on USA.
And we've also got non-TNT originals, Bones, Charmed, NCIS New Orleans, Supernatural, and Unforgettable. That's the list of all their programming.
Yeah.
Nowhere on here is AEW, Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Troy brought up a good point in the host thread about how is this going to work when the playoffs come around, depending on what day of the week.
They have TBS, they have Discovery, they have all sorts of channels they can stick shit on for a week.
Yeah.
A week or two.
So, Sal, you're saying, you can watch Modern Family over that, but you know what else USA Network has? Mr. Robot, a show that's won multiple Emmys. Queen of the South.
I love Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot's good.
The Sinner, another show that's won multiple Emmys.
But they also have like the Chris Lees.
Yeah, but they
still
have
Silk Stockings on there?
Probably. Yeah, and you know what? That fucking terrible show gets mad ratings, dude.
In plain sight,
doing very
Mary
well.
McCormick.
Yeah. So you just because you dislike it doesn't mean it's not a very profitable show. Doesn't mean there's not a lot of fucking viewers for the show. There's not a lot of viewers for TNT right now. Now, they hope with the A&W deal, AEW deal.
Oh, root beer?
Yes,
I'm down.
yes, that changes obviously. And
Oh,
this
they
could
should
lead to-
so get them as a sponsor.
Right.
Yeah, but as of right now, what you have is a network like USA that has fans coming for other shows. So you've got that cross promotion already. You're moving to Fox, where I've been watching auto racing on Fox, and they throw fucking commercials. They've had WWE superstars be the pace car driver the past 3 fucking weeks. I mean, their Fox is promoting the shit out of it right now.
No, let's not
that's
forget
not
that,
what TNT
that
has right now.
WWE being
they
on
have-
Fox is also a huge fucking deal.
If they have a car race in Southern California, watch out for Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sakai.
That's right.
SCU!
Yep, and they do, by the way. But yeah, like I said, that's what we're talking about here. We're very happy that AEW. I did it again. AEW. I guess I'm just hungry, man. That they got a TV deal, but we need to temper our expectations on it. It's a TV deal with a network that's, by all accounts, sort of failing right now.
Got a
Or-
caveat.
Yeah. You got to kind of think of it like the biggest thing they have is basketball, and that's going away in a little bit. So,
Right.
And then you've got USA Network, which is doing very well, as it continues to get, like I said, nominations,
It's
different things like that. And you've got Fox, which
Yeah.
obviously is a powerhouse.
The Warriors and the Raptors finals is going to be on ABC. So this
Yep.
is the last round where you're on TNT.
Yep. So that right there is where you start to go. Like, okay, well, why would I download the TNT app anymore after that? When I just take it off of my phone, you know? Why do I turn into TNT at this point when?
What
all
if
of
you
this
really
shit-
want to watch Bones?
I can watch it on Hulu or Netflix.
Is it on Netflix anymore? I thought they took it off of Netflix.
I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. If
Oh,
you
whatever.
no, but I think the idea is if you turn into AEW and you see a commercial, maybe they come up with a new fall lineup.
Well, that's what I'm
You
saying.
see-
Is that that's what they're hoping for? Is that this is
Right.
a good way for
I
them
mean-
to jumpstart to do some more original programming?
Yeah, I think it's
All
a good
you-
deal on both ends.
All you really need to know about TNT is that of all the NCISs, they got New Orleans.
That's right.
Oh.
I'm just like, I mean, USA got the original, and I think the USA might have Los Angeles too.
I think USA still has SVU too.
I'm like, fucking, all right, you fuckers can have New Orleans. We're good.
Yeah. All right. So one last thing we will say in regards to AEW before we move on to our main event.
AE Dub, AE Dub.
Root beer for all, but also due to the most recent death of Silver King down in Mexico, AEW and MLW have decided that they are going to CPR certify every one of their referees.
Yes. Yep.
Which is an awesome step.
Yep.
If anyone has seen the video of the Silver King incident, it is a bad image to see.
Yeah.
You've got a veteran worker who did nothing,
50 plus.
and you have a referee who did nothing, and that's an issue. And these are the guys that should know what's
Well,
going on. They should see what's going on. Clearly, the ref saw what was going on. He didn't know what to do, and clearly, Juventud saw what was going on. He didn't know what to do. He continued to just try to roll over a guy who was dead weight at that point.
Well, he kicked him. I mean,
Yeah, that's an issue. So, good on AEW and MLW.
Yeah.
I think they get kind of lost in it because AEW is everyone's golden child right now.
MLW is a hell of a good entertaining program. I
Yeah.
encourage people should go check that out on BN Sports or their YouTube channel. I think they put pretty much all their weekly shows on there almost right away. So
So, obviously, it's an.
I think they just had a MLW. Not just to give MLW a little shout out too. I think they just had the first wrestling show or episode of a wrestling show on television that was produced by a woman. So
Awesome.
good on that.
John does say that Bones is on Hulu and Prime Video, so there you go. I can watch it. That's fine.
But it's not on Netflix. I was right.
Well, all right, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, so
I mean, you can watch Bones on RedTube too. It's
that's
different
true.
than-
It's just different things happen. But David Boreanaz is still there, ironically. Weird.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Emily Deschanel in there somewhere.
Probably for AEW, having them, CPR certify their referees and everything like that. They've got the money for it. For MLW, that's a budget item that they have to allocate money towards, and that's a little bit harder for them. But so the fact that they are actually doing that is is a great image for them to portray. Like, hey, we do care about the workers that we have here. We're going to take this one more step and have it where at least the referees can do something until the trained medical staff can get out to the ring. You know, you were laughing about something. I'm assuming you have something from the side.
Yeah, just to get caught up on the side. John says they still show Shawshank Redemption pretty regularly, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It just made me laugh. And then I realized that Smathers came in and said he's only tuning in to APW for the run-in of Billy Gunn. Hasn't posted since. So he actually made a run-in to post about Billy Gunn doing a run-in.
Yep.
Good on you, Smathers. Okay.
Wait. Because you brought up Silver King, and I know Jason's been around the indie scene for a good 20 years now, and I did have to ask him. I mean, I've heard some different narratives this week that the rest of the wrestling landscape is not equipped and never has been to handle an emergency situation. Is that true? Is there not? Like, I know certain states have.
Very few shows have EMTs on site or anything, if that's what you're asking.
Now, isn't there like an athletic
if
commission?
Jerry Lawler's heart attack had happened at an indie show, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now,
I've been at a ring. I've been at a show where, I've seen some pretty gnarly shit. Not the least of which was somebody completely snapping their leg in half. They were tended to. I know D.L. Hurst recently had that happen to him at a show in New England not that long ago, and he was, received good care. Josh Briggs had a hip dislocation happen recently. So these are just some of the guys I know, the shit they've dealt with. But no, I mean, the promoters are usually pretty good about getting the attention for workers that are injured. The problem is, in this particular case, I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel sort of gross going too deep into the Silver King thing. But if you go back and watch the video, it's obvious something's wrong, but you can look up and see where he's lifting his head and he's talking. So it may have just been that, and these are guys who are trained, hey, work through injuries, go home with the match, and then figure it out afterwards. That's how guys in wrestling are often trained. And if Silver King wasn't putting over that something was really wrong, if he was just saying go home, go home, go home, which is what a lot of guys would do if they felt like something was wrong, go home and then I'll get attended to. So I think we're putting a lot on the referee and Hoovy without knowing what was actually going on there. If Silver King is telling them go home, go home, go home, it looked like Hoovy went right for the pinfall, like that's what was going on. So I don't know.
Oh, it is good to hear, though, that, like you said, most shows you have been on, that there's some type of, if there needs to be medical attention, it's going to be there.
And there are a lot of guys who I've been in locker rooms with who are performers who are EMTs or have medical training. So that's usually fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, your issue there is that it's not regulated. They don't have to do that. So it is going to be the promoter that is going to make that decision on. Right. Am I going to pay a couple of guys that are CPR certified or EMTs or some of that to be at the show in worst case scenario? So,
and one of the just to throw a little bit of complimentary thing out there into the universe. For those of you who watched the recent Impact Rebellion pay-per-view, Brian Cage hurt himself during a Spanish fly spot from the stage to the floor. Is sort of pretty seriously injured his back. Fortunately, it sounds like it doesn't require surgery, but he had a really tough time getting through the rest of the match. Apparently, and a guy we've sort of mocked a little bit on this show in the past, the CEO, I believe, of Impact, Ed Nordum, actually left the arena, personally drove Brian Cage to the hospital and waited 4 hours while the doctors tended to him until they knew what was going on. And that's apparently something that's gained him a lot of respect from the rest of the locker room. So just good on Ed Nordum for that one.
Absolutely.
All right. So we've got some more conflicting reports from our dirt idiots.
Are we in main event time now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Melty Dick is saying that Triple H is frustrated with Vince McMahon because he's too open to ideas and takes too much advice from the writing staff.
What? I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
I didn't either.
It's out there.
I saw that Triple H is frustrated, but it was for the exact opposite.
Yep.
Right.
So that's the other conflicting report, is that Triple H is saying that Vince is out of touch, not willing to listen to anything, and only does the show words. So again, take that as it may, you know.
But see, that's the one that jives with every former writer we've ever heard that comes out. So to me, that's the more likely scenario.
And again, think of the source. It's Dave Meltzer, who's an idiot. So either way, the issue is that, and we have done it ourselves. We have blamed creative, and we've blamed the writers, because we didn't. I mean, we don't know. We don't know the situation. We're never going to know that. That is like Paisley Park back there. Like, you're not going to fucking know what's going on behind the scenes a lot of the times. So obviously, we have heard from former wrestlers and even current wrestlers about that are with WWE, about them not having their ideas listened to. I mean, known piece of shit Chris Jericho talks about all the time that they turned me down for this, they turned me down for that, and stuff like that. I mean, most of his ideas were terrible, but you got to assume that the same thing is going on, for other people as well. And we try to temper a little bit of our reaction to things when you hear things like, oh, Vince McMahon is burying the revival. No, he thinks it's great. He thinks it's hilarious. Things like that. So we're going to take it as, but either way, no matter what's going on backstage, we can all agree that the show is shit right now, and there's a lot of issues, and we've gone through a lot of the issues, but obviously we're going to talk about it. That maybe we should put a lot more blame on Vince than we've been doing, and a lot less blame on creative than what we've been doing. So go ahead and start us off, Sal.
I would actually like to take this opportunity to thank Jason for being so right a week or so ago when he gave his rant.
All right, don't blow him.
About the current state of the product, because the report that came out from Wade Keller and a former writer that was on his show just lists dozens of things that are going on behind the scenes in the WWE, and it's almost sickening to see what level Vince will go to control everything. Some of the things that were jarring in the report were that nobody, not Triple H, not Stephanie, not Shane, not Bruce Pritchard, nobody can change Vince's mind when he wants to do something or when he doesn't want to do something. He's gotten to the point where he's extremely stubborn and only wants to do what he wants to do, and it's really just making the show unwatchable. And there was proof of it this week. There's everything we talked about in the Perfect 10. There's a lot of it that we shake our head and go, I don't understand this direction. Well, Vince doesn't give a fuck. It's just, he doesn't care if you understand it. He doesn't care if you like it. He doesn't care if you stop watching. He's got his $1 billion from Fox. He's got more billions coming from Saudi Arabia. He's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. But to what end? When does it end? When does it all come crashing down for him? And I feel like it's not going to be a big boom. It's just going to be a slow, gradual decline.
Jason.
I don't want to come on here and say I told you so, but I mean, this is all stuff in this report that I've basically been saying for the last couple of years on this show, almost verbatim in some cases. It's been what's been going on, and if you've been in or around the business, you saw it, it. It's the stories are out there. They're not hard to hear, and we see constant reminders of them all the time. To Sal's point, how does it change? When does it change? The one thing I guess we have going for us in a weird kind of way is that he took this company public, because now they have a board of directors. And if they start getting heat from Fox, like, hey, these ratings suck, we're going to find some way to get out of this contract. We're going to fight, legally there's usually loopholes for them to do something like that. that's the type of scenario where the board gets together and says, okay, we got to remove this guy from the product. Like, you can still collect your dividend checks, you can still get your stock shares, but you're not going to run the day-to-day anymore. That's probably the only scenario under which anything changes, and that's a very, very unlikely scenario, but it's probably the only scenario where it changes because Vince isn't going anywhere. Vince doesn't want to retire. He wants to continue doing this, and you have a product geared towards 20 and 30 somethings being written by an 80-year-old man. And his sense of what's funny, his sense of what's compelling, he's got the formula that he built the company with, except the formula hasn't changed while the world around him has. Yep. And that's the biggest problem he has. And that is what has allowed companies like AEW, or at least will allow companies like AEW, to capitalize. They are recognizing the voids in the business and the things people want that they're not getting from WWE, and they're planning on delivering those things, filling those voids. This was all entirely preventable by Vince. He chose not to prevent it. He chose to stay the course. And I think I mentioned it in my rant last time, but this reminds me very much of pre-Monday Night Wars Vince, where it was TL Hopper and it was I know how to build heels, and it was hokey fucking characters, while the fans were telling you they wanted more realistic shit. WCW gave them more realistic shit, then Vince went, oh, so that's what you want, and then he just did it better than WCW did.
You know what's fucked up? You brought up the fact that they're a publicly traded company and that the board can meet and decide to remove this guy from the day-to-day operations. They fucking booked that storyline in 2011. That's what Triple H did. He came out there and said, the board has decided you can't be in charge of day-to-day operations anymore.
I think it was still privately traded. It was a private company at that point.
It's just funny that they literally booked this as a storyline and it might actually come true in real life.
Don't get too ahead of yourself there, brother.
No, because like I said in the host thread, he's you got a lot of corporate stockholders that are going to look at Vince as the man, regardless. I don't think they're going to put up with it too much, but they are going to give him a lot of leeway because he is leeway. Because they're going to look at this guy has been the owner, he's been the guy steering the ship for 30 years. Okay. Why change now? I mean, Jerry Jones is still in charge of the Cowboys, so what fate do I have that Vince won't be in charge of the WWE?
No, the Cowboys are a private company. He's a private owner.
They're a private organization, but they're involved with the NFL. Who's a
the NFL could remove him, but there's he has no board of directors that are making profits off of decisions he makes. They're making profits as a league. That's a different scenario. Yeah. And We better be the fucking name of this episode now.
And see, like, there's a reason why, like the CEO of Coca-Cola can't turn around and be like, I'm going to put goat piss in every one of the cans. He'd be voted out. So it's very hard for someone like Vince McMahon to be like, it's my way or the we way. So.
Yeah, no, this is that's the only scenario this changes. I mean, it really is. John says if stocks fall enough, would there be a move to take control of the company from him? And yes, that's the type of scenario we're talking about. The board is not going to make a move. The board doesn't give a shit about the creative of the company. I'm going to tell you that right now. Right. It's a bunch of millionaires who are sitting there. They want profits. Guess what?
They don't
profits
watch the
are
show.
Good. Right, the profits are good thanks to Saudi Arabia and the new TV deals.
Right,
but if those corporate sponsors, if those television networks start making noise about being really disappointed in the ratings and not sure if they're going to re-up or not sure if they're going to see if they can find a loophole, that's when shit starts getting real.
He'll just turn around and blame injuries again. You know what I mean?
Well, that works, except Fox is sort of a different ball game for them. That's network television. That's a big fucking fish for them. And USA is big. Fox is bigger.
That's true.
And as if Fox starts making some real noise, that's a big thing for them.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at how this WWE stock is performing. So. The past month, okay, it is down a little bit. So in the past year, it has been as low as $50 a share. Right now it's at 81.65. So things are going fine. Yes, they took a little bit of a hit just recently, but not much, like a $2 hit. So, and in terms of like the 5-year history of it, best it's been in the past 5 years.
Yeah,
So
the
they're
company makes money hand over foot.
which is why Vince McMahon is not going to be removed from it, because he's making the money. Now we'll see what happens with the XFL. The XFL.
That's
is
a
something-
different entity, though.
No,
but,
no,
you
no,
know.
no, no, no. Allow me to finish. Vince McMahon is going to be very hands-on with the XFL. That is a potential there to move him away from the WWE product and have him focus on XFL. That's one way that we might be able to get things a little bit better, is because he might have his attention focused on something else, and will have to rely on somebody else like Triple H to cover WWE and do the day-to-day operations over there. So that's something that we could potentially see, with him. But in terms of them voting him out, I don't see it happening, because, like I said, they're doing good. The stocks are doing great. The ratings are a little bit down, and he's got to deal with that. But they just signed these big fucking contracts, and guess what? It says in the Fox contract, you can't move it to FS1. So everyone who was saying like, well, they could just move it up. Nope. WWE is very smart deal makers on this shit. They made sure that they weren't going to be ditched off to the fucking, company. They are going on Fox. And Fox is putting a lot of money into it right now, too. And so, right now, no reason to get rid of Vince. He's making them a fucking ton of money.
Yeah, right now. And I think he's all set for 2019, but yeah, those ratings and Fox themselves are really going to determine the fate in 2020.
Well, yeah, the stock is going to hit a correction come October when that money rolls in. Then after that is when you're going to have to see it, because then if shit goes south over there on Fox and on USA, after that, then yeah, potentially, but yeah, it's going to be a long time before a move gets made, unless he kills somebody. So.
Or dies.
Right.
I mean, we have all these fucking wrestlers dying, and then I hear Vince works until 4 o'clock in the morning. What? Does this guy ever sleep? He's like a robot at this point, right? Like he died a long time ago.
Probably.
And he's just on autopilot, like just keep rebooking 1995.
I mean, he may be 3 hornswoggles in a vent suit. Who knows?
Also, episode title.
Oh no, it's Wee Way at this point. Smathers emailed us. He also did jump back in over on the side there. So Sally didn't just do a run in. He's doing like a DX run where you keep running in different matches. But Smathers said, with today's announcement that Alexa Bliss isn't cleared to wrestle at Money in the Bank, WWE has an opportunity to change a lot of things all at once. Becky beats Evans because she has no business beginning her WWE career as a champ. Nikki Cross takes Alexa's place and becomes the surprise winner of the Money in the Bank match. Becky has an absolute barn burner against Charlotte, and with Evans' interference, loses the belt to Charlotte. Nikki Cross runs in and takes the Raw title off of her, and we get an end to the Becky 2-belt shit. Lynch can move to Raw and continue those feuds, with Lacey Evans obviously. Overbooked? Yes, I think this would be a great palate cleanser for both women's divisions. So thank you, Smathers, on that. So now let's get into our predictions for Money in the Bank. Starting things off, I'm gonna show. The Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese defends against Arya Daivari. Sal, you need to...
Can I just, before we start, can I make a motion that henceforth on the show, it's the Wii Show?
Fair enough.
Not the pre-show.
Motion granted. Sal, I'm going to need you to go ahead and put in anybody's picks that aren't not already on there. So starting things off on the Wii Show, Tony Nese defends his newly won Cruiserweight Championship against Arya Daivari. Ginger and Adam have gone with Tony Nese. Me and Jeff have gone with Arya Daivari because Tony Nese is fucking boring. Jason, who do you got in this Wii match?
I'm going to go with Tony Nese. I think they just put the belt on him. I'd be a little surprised. As skeptical as I am of going and agreeing with Ginger, I'm going to go with Tony Nese.
That's fair. Sal?
I'm going to go with Arya Daivari. I think Tony Nese as a face has been kind of a failure, and actually has gotten ratings to fall in 205 Live, if that's possible.
I don't think they have ratings, but okay.
Views,
Can
network
we play?
views.
Can we play as we go through this? Can we play how many times did Adam go against the minority?
Which is odd considering him.
I mean, he won't hear this for a month anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Fact.
Are you referring to the fact that he's picked almost the same as everybody else? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, he picked against Arya Daivari, and the Usos, who are Samoan, and Rey Mysterio, who's Mexican.
That minority. Oh, I thought you meant the majority of the picks that we made.
No.
Okay, all right, yes. I will go ahead and let you know every time that he picked somebody. Well, no, there's one. We'll get there. Anyways, so a nice split.
It's
on
only
that
because he
one.
had no choice in that one.
There are plenty of female or of white people he could have picked in that one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Joe and Ray. All right, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I mean, Samoan is kind of. So in the other Wii show matchup, Daniel Bryan and Biodiesel take on the Usos in a non-title match. Me, Adam, and Jeff have all gone with Daniel Bryan and Biodiesel. Sal, who you got?
Yeah, Daniel Bryan and Biodiesel.
Okay. Jason?
Let me go out on a limb here and say that because it's not a title match, and because they pinned the Usos on television last week, I'm going to pick the Usos for the upset here.
Oh, of course, have them beat the champions.
I think it's a non-title match for a reason. Put it that way.
And it's another opportunity for the champions to look like idiots by
well.
losing. So the U.S. Championship is surprisingly on the line in Samoa Joe and his 475th match against Rey Mysterio. Jeff, right now, is the sole person that has picked Rey Mysterio.
Jeff anxiously trying to get his title of worst picker back from Ginger.
Yep. Samoa Joe was chosen by Ginger, Adam, and myself. Please, for the love of fucking God, stop this feud. Jason, who you got?
I say Dominic turns on Ray, and it's Samoa Joe.
Yeah, clearly that's what's going to happen. It could not be. If it doesn't happen, that'll be the shock. Sal.
Samoa Joe.
Are they going to say that Dominic is Eddie Guerrero's son, though?
Possibly.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Or he's Joe's son, because that's what Cesaro said.
Or it could be. I mean, he could be Orton's son. That was the whole thing, too. So then we have our Money in the Skank ladder match. Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. Jeff picks Naomi, which is an interesting pick. Ginger picks Bayley. Adam picks Ember in a surprise move. I chose Nikki Cross. Jason, who you got?
So, process of elimination on these things. Let's run through them real quick for me, at least. Natalya, no. Dana Brooke, not going to win this thing. Naomi serves no purpose to put it on her. Nikki Cross, still sort of a face. Bayley, a face, doesn't. Faces to me should never be Money in the Bank. So I'm rarely
Nikki
going to.
Cross is a face? She teamed
I
up
think
with
so.
Alexa Bliss.
Right, but she was playing sort of like the girl Alexa Bliss was using. Like she was the sad girl who Alexa Bliss was taking advantage of.
Right, which is why I picked her to win.
Which makes her the sympathetic one, which sort of makes her the face.
Right, and that's how then you have Alexa Bliss win the championship down the line, and then Nikki Cross cashes in on her and becomes an Uber face.
But that's the thing. Like
Uber
it's another show title name. The problem is like the very premise of Money in the Bank leads you to believe it should be a chicken shit heel that cashes in when the champion is at their least. And typically, that's who it's been. Looking through this list, to me, the choice that makes sense is Mandy Rose. I think she's the most likely to play the chicken shit heel that runs in when someone's hurt, cashes in, maybe even uses Sonya Deville to that end to make that happen, to A, help her win the case in the first place, to B, help her cash in. I'm going to go with Mandy Rose, and that's always my answer anyway. So,
okay. Yeah, it's hard. It's always hard to argue that logic of it's better on a heel because we've seen it time and time again. It's always better on a heel. It's not how
It's
they always
almost
book it.
always on a heel, one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, Dean Ambrose won it, John Cena won it, Rob Van Dam won it. You know, there have been guys in the past that are faces that have won it, but yeah, it's never been as good as when it's on a heel.
Yeah.
The cash-ins always seem to be better.
And the women's one has always been won by a heel.
So far, yeah, that's true. Sal, go ahead.
For everything Jason said, and because Sonya Deville is going to help her do it, yeah, it's going to be Mandy.
I also said that.
Awesome. No, Mandy makes the most sense out of everybody. You look at that lineup. I really don't see them putting it on Nikki Cross. I think she was just a filler, and she'll probably do crazy shit in the match, which is great.
Natalia's going to win, just so it'll prove us all wrong.
I mean, you also have to, when you're picking Nikki, you also have to factor in that she wasn't planned to be in the match. So now you not only think that they're reversing course so completely that they're putting her in the match and changing who the planned winner is going to be. I just don't see that.
Yep.
And Mandy, to me, makes the perfect, like, she's the quintessential person to hold that briefcase because she's somebody that the fans don't think deserves it. It's a perfect way for her to get the title if they want to put the title on her because she can sort of backdoor her way into winning the title, similar to what Carmella did. So she doesn't have to be a great wrestler. She doesn't have to put a great performance, but you can still put the title on her. We know Vince fucking loves her. To me, it just makes all the fucking sense in the world.
Well, you don't have to sell it. We know it's a possibility. I just went a different route with it.
No, I'm just saying. We're discussing the match. I'm just adding my insight.
The Raw Women's Championship. I don't know the fucking which one's gonna be first. Doesn't fucking matter. Becky
I
Lynch,
do, or at least I have a prediction.
I'm guessing
You know which one's gonna be first. Okay, which one's gonna be first? Is it the Raw Women's Championship or is this?
I believe so. Yes, because it plays into the rest of my predictions.
Yeah.
That doesn't make as much sense as you think it does, but that's fine. All right, so the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch.
I think I'm agreeing with Sal here. Go ahead.
Becky Lynch defends against Lacey Evans. Oops, I forgot to change his color. Hefe, Ginger, myself, and Adam have all picked Becky Lynch. Sal, who you got?
Becky Lynch.
Jason?
Becky Lynch.
So far, all of us have said no cash-in. Do either of you think there will be a cash-in on the Raw Women's Championship match?
No.
Okay. Moving right along, we've got Roman Reigns taking on Elias, and Ginger trying to get his continued championship of Worst Picker has chosen Elias. Me, Jeff, and Adam have all chosen Roman Reigns. Sal, who you got?
I would fucking love for it to be Elias. I would think it would be a great moment for him. It's something he could claim. He could brag about it, even if Shane helped him. But it's not going to be. There's nothing that WWE has done in the past month to make me think that Elias is going to beat Roman Reigns in a match.
Never gonna win.
No, it's Roman.
Jason?
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think Shane is going to be the deciding factor of why Elias wins this match.
No, I think Shane is going to come out after Roman Reigns wins, so then they're going to beat the shit out of him. But that's fine. It's a prediction thing. But you're wrong, because you picked with Ginger. Then a steel cage match. Shane McMahon takes on The Miz. Plus, he's going to be in this, and he's probably going to be in like critical condition after this match.
Or he's going to help Elias, and then Elias is going to help him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a steel cage, so you can't get in.
That's never happened, of course.
It's never happened. Me, Jeff, Ginger, and Adam have all chosen The Miz to win this match. Jason, sounds like you have a difference of opinion on that.
No, I actually think Roman Reigns is going to come out to get his revenge on Shane, and it's going to keep Elias from getting involved, and The Miz is going to The Miz is going to win this match.
We always tend to fantasy book better than the actual match. We should be writers for WWE, so we can be ignored.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't matter.
Sal, your pick.
I think Miz gets this win. I think he needs it to keep his face run,
What are you talking about? He's the new Stone Cold. He just beats up everybody.
Yeah, with the steel chair. Except for that's another thing. Maybe they should stop using chairs. It really lost all point.
When you couldn't hit the head anymore, it sort of, yeah.
That's a dangerous line you're treading there, buddy. Careful.
No, I understand why they can't do it.
Okay.
Right.
But it's sort of as a move, it sort of loses oh, hold on, I got this chair. His head's right there, but I got to hit him in the stomach so then I can wrap it around his back. It's sort of like,
Just get rid of the whole chair thing at this point. It's just pointless.
So you would have rather had Seth Rollins unprotected chair shot Roman Reigns when he turned on him?
No, we're saying if you can't use the chair that way, then don't use a chair at all. Find
Yes,
another
don't
way to
use
use
the
a
chair.
foreign object.
I mean, we have
Use a pair of brass knucks. Use a pair there's all sorts of foreign objects you can use that are okay to use.
I'm all for the brass knucks personally.
See,
Use the little spike that Kevin Sullivan used to hide in his trunks.
Use the fucking ring bell. Like, why does it always have to be a chair?
My issue is you
Right
can
across the throat, Macho Man style.
yeah, my issue is you can still use a steel chair, and as long as they put their arms up in front of their face. It's just that they don't want it to go anywhere near the head at this point. But like you can
Right.
still do that.
Well, you could, but they don't.
Yeah,
so
they
if
don't,
you're not
so.
going to, then don't fucking waste
Right.
the spot. That's
Right.
what we're
I mean,
saying.
it's the same thing with like Triple H using his sledgehammer now, and all he does is just punch you in the gut with it. It's like
So
fucking
you
dumb.
argued with us ultimately to agree with us. Thank you for pulling a Sal on that one.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. No, I don't have a problem with them using steel chairs by wrapping them on their backs. I don't. Money in the Bank. Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. Ginger has gone with Drew McIntyre. Adam has gone with Drew McIntyre. Jeff has gone with Andrade Cien Almas. Jason, who you got?
See, this one to me is probably even more compelling than the women's because I can look at this and see three people I can legitimately see winning this match and carrying that briefcase.
Baron Corbin, Randy Orton.
Yeah, no, in the form of Andrade, Drew McIntyre, and Sami Zayn. I think Drew's going to get to that spot in a different way. I don't think it's going to be a cash-in. I go back to who fits the chicken shit heel of stealing the title best. And to me, that's Sami Zayn. And I think there's, again, a reason he was maneuvered into this match at the last minute. I'm going to go Sami Zayn.
All right. Let it be known that I had Sami Zayn written down before. Jason.
Sammy's fine. You don't have to put his last name there, Sal. It's fine. There you go.
Yeah, and my big thing was obviously, Andrade would be a good person to carry it, but I think that Andrade and Finn Balor will take each other out in this match. And and that will be Andrade's big feud is the IC belt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I think that Andrade is obviously gaining a lot of momentum and everything like that, especially from what we've heard in the back. So, but I think him as Intercontinental Champion would be a really good thing.
Yeah.
So,
Typically, in a lot of cases, the Money in the Bank men's case has gone to the least logical guy. I give you Sheamus a few years ago out of nowhere.
Right.
I mean, that's why like Ali is a wild card in this because they might try to reward him for the fact that he lost on the opportunity for the Kofi Kingston thing.
It wouldn't at all shock me for this to somehow end up on Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah.
just because it's Randy Orton.
Yep. Well, see, right now you've got
Has Randy Orton ever won Money in the Bank?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He
Cashed
cashed
in
in
on
on
Daniel
Daniel Bryan.
Bryan.
Yep. Forgot about that one.
I mean, you could have Randy Orton cash in, take that title belt, and lose it to Triple H.
Yeah. There you go.
Don't put it past them.
Sal.
So I would love it for it to be Sami Zayn. I don't think Sami's going to get the case. It's funny because when this match was booked, I had said this was Drew McIntyre's match to lose. They haven't done anything to make me believe that they're going to put a world title on Drew in the immediate future. So I love the whole act with Andrade and Zelina Vega. I think Andrade gets a ton of heat with that case, and I think Andrade is going to take it at Money in the Bank.
So
He gets a ton of heat from Charlotte.
so John on the side has picked Tony Nese, Daniel Bryan and Rowan, Samoa Joe, Bailey, and cashes in, moving Becky to Raw.
Wait. Whoa, hold on. So, who cashes in?
Bailey wins and cashes in
So Bailey's cashing in
on the SmackDown one, I believe.
on the
is what he said,
SmackDown
yeah.
Women's title. Okay.
Yeah, because
Well,
he's got Becky winning against Lacey. So Becky would
Okay.
retain the Raw title move with that.
See that to me, Bailey doesn't cash in like that unless the same night as a pay-per-view when a champion's down after 2 matches, unless they're doing a Bailey heel turn. I don't see that at all.
He's got Roman Reigns clearly wins The Miz. Zayn wins. He says he's a perfect heel to carry the case. And he's worried they're going to put it on Corbin, which is possible. Former winner as well. All right, that brings us to Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. Me, Hefe, Adam, and Ginger have all chosen Kofi Kingston to retain, as much as that pained me, because I would love to see Owens. I think it would propel him to...
Weren't you the one that said Kofi would lose the title in his first defense?
This isn't his first defense.
Well, I mean, his first pay-per-view defense.
Oh.
First significant defense.
Yeah, most likely. That sounds like something I would say.
You're going against your own prediction.
It happens. I mean, it's just the fact that, right, like, I'm waiting for the bottom to drop out on Kofi, and it hasn't happened yet. So, but once it does, they will be very quick to pull that title off of him. So, Sal, what?
Well, yeah, dude, if the bottom drops off him, that means the title's off of him already.
Yeah, ask Jinder Mahal how that went. Sal, go ahead. I'm saying like the second he doesn't get as good of a reaction. Not even like fully, not even full out. The second he doesn't get as good a reaction he's getting right now is when they're like, "Oh, it's done." They don't have that confidence in him at all.
No, I got you now. But we'll see if it gets to that point or when it does. I say Kofi retains here, but no shame in Owens beating the crap out of him for most of the match. I'll be happy to watch this match.
Yeah, beat up black guys. Jason.
I'm gonna go with Kofi here.
Okay. Nobody's picking Big E to return and turn on him like we've been doing.
No,
okay.
He's not.
Anybody picking for the cash in?
Nope.
Okay. Sal?
Cash in.
Okay. Nobody else has picked a cash for this. SmackDown Women's Championship: Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Adam has gone with Becky Lynch. Ginger never came and fixed this, I guess, because he was supposed to pick somebody to win it. Me and Jeff both picked Charlotte. Jeff chose no cash in. I chose a cash in because I think Charlotte wins it. Then Nikki Cross cashes in on her, and then we kind of move Nikki over to SmackDown for that. Yes.
I mean, they could have, if they wanted Nikki on SmackDown, they could have just fucking put her on there. She didn't have a brand for 3 months.
Oh, they don't fucking care what's going on right now. It's my predictions, dude.
All right.
Ginger.
I mean, if you want to be Ginger, go ahead. I'm just.
Well, Ginger thinks that Bayley's cashing in on Charlotte. Everybody else so far is saying no cash in. So, Sal, who do you got in the match itself? And then do you have a cash in?
Okay. So the reason I think the Raw Women's title goes on first is because Becky beats Lacey Evans with the Disarmer. Lacey, not happy about it, takes her revenge, costs Becky the title against Charlotte. So that Becky and Lacey can still continue their feud on Raw. Charlotte gets the title off of Becky, but there's no cash in. Charlotte will be on SmackDown Tuesday as the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Great job.
Huh?
Your pick.
So when this whole thing originally came about, my thought process was sort of similar to Sal's, in that she would beat Lacey and then she would lose to Charlotte, so you get the title back over to SmackDown. And then Wild Card happened. And the truth is that Becky's going to be on both shows anyway, so there's no urgency to take one of the titles off of her, as she can float between them like everyone else is. And it sort of gives them an option to have another superstar float between shows without violating the Wild Card rule, because she's the champion on both shows. So to me, I think Becky holds on to the 2 belts a little bit longer than we thought.
Universal Championship, Seth Rollins defends against AJ Styles. Me and Ginger have chosen Seth Rollins to retain in his first title defense on pay-per-view. Jeff and Adam have chosen AJ Styles. Sal, who you got?
I'm saying Seth retains.
Jason?
I can't see them taking the title off of Seth Rollins this quickly.
All right. Any cash-ins?
No.
All right.
I'm actually surprised 2 people went to AJ Styles. I mean, it seems pretty obvious at this point you're not taking the title off of Seth this quick.
Yeah, well, it's king of not being able to pick anything and guy who randomly picks things. So, all right. So let
John on the side, by the way, says that he thinks Kofi wins. He'll carry the belt until SummerSlam and lose it there. And he said that Bayley cashes in during the SmackDown match and pins Charlotte.
Right.
So.
And that Seth wins. All right. Let's take a look at what is going on around the independent area there. Sal.
Saturday, May 18th, Brew City Wrestling presents Retribution from the Elks Lodge 400 in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Ringside tickets are $20, $18 advance on BrewCityWrestling1.com. Doors open at 6:45 p.m. Bell time is at 7:30. Special meet and greet at 6 p.m. with former WWE superstar Swoggle and ROH stars The Bouncers, Beer City Bruiser, and Brawler Malonis. $10 admission, picks, and merchandise will have separate fees. Already signed, ROH stars The Bouncers versus Bruiser, Nick Colucci, and Brandon Blaze. Brew City Wrestling Heritage Championship, no disqualification match. Demented Chucky Bates versus Doc McStuffins. Brew City Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. Brew City Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship Dysfunction versus Filth King Nick Brubaker. Card subject to change. More Fandemonium matches announced soon.
I would hope not, because it's this Saturday.
Visit www.brewcitywrestling1.com or follow them on Facebook, Brew City Wrestling 1, Instagram, Brew City Wrestling, Snapchat, BCW Boss 1.
Hey, why is he not the Kingpin anymore?
Because that was his name pre-Ring of Honor, and I guess Ring of Honor wanted him to have something that fit better with the Beer City Bruiser, so.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead.
Well, speaking of this Saturday, you can join me as I head up to Newburyport for the Atlantic Pro Wrestling Show at the Elks Lodge. Another great night of wrestling action. Tickets are $15 at the door. Advanced general admission tickets are $12. Reserved front row seats $20. Reserved second row seats $15. Reserved front and second row seats also receive early admission, and that is important because just announced today, Impact Wrestling star Ace Austin will be doing a pre-show meet and greet where you can come. New cruiserweight star in Impact. Big, sort of good indie guy. Really good, really talented performer. He'll be there doing a meet and greet prior to the show for those with pre-reserved front row and second row seating. Also, he has been added to the APW Heavyweight Championship match, making it a three-way as Dynamite Danny Miles defends the title against Bear Bronson and Ace Austin. That is going to be a match you don't want to miss. Also on the show, APW New England champion Demon Ortiz defends his title against the masshole Mike McCarthy. The APW women's title will be on the line as Vanity Vixen takes on the debuting Chris Statlander. APW tag team titles on the line as Nightbreed takes on the number one contenders American Made. A loser leaves APW match will see Mass Appeal Travis Gillette take on the Bitter King Buddy Romano. In tag team action, it is going to be the Breakfast Club making their debut against Venom. Stay tuned for updates. Card is subject to change. That is this Saturday. Newburyport Elks, 25 Low Street, Newburyport, Massachusetts. Atlantic Pro Wrestling, spring loaded.
All right. John says he's finally going to go see Endgame. Thanks for the entertainment. Thank you. Don't be too sad when Superman dies. Lucky Pro Wrestling presents...
Can't believe Batman killed him, though.
I know, right? It was crazy. Saturday, May 18th at the Wendell P. Clark Memorial YMCA in Wichita, Massachusetts. Doors open for a special meet and greet with the wrestlers at 6:30 p.m. and live wrestling is at 7:30 p.m. Tickets for this event are just $15. Proceeds help fund the Clark YMCA's Building Brighter Futures annual campaign. LPW champion Vern Vicalo and Royce Bishop with Danica will take on Mr. Hughes and Kellen Thomas.
I love that. How you subtly edit out that completely untrue statement prior to his name. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. LPW Women's Championship will be on the line as Adira takes on Impact Wrestling knockout Alicia Edwards. Shay Cash takes on Ronnie Ribbs. Is she not allowed to use Edwards? Is that why it's written like that, or?
She was. I don't know.
Okay.
No, I think Edwards. Yeah, I don't know. It's a work name. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
Isana takes on Ava Everett. Sensational Scott Levesque takes on Nico Silva and Tyler Nitro in a triple threat match. Sweatboy Christopher James will take on Dan Terry. And it'll be
The newly married Dan Terry. Congratulations.
congrats, buddy. Down to
All 500 followers were at his wedding, I understand.
Is that why he's no longer down to fuck? Because he got married?
Maybe. I don't know.
There'll be a
Down
stamp.
to fuck. It's Dan Terry Fitness. It's his program.
Okay, whatever you say. Stampede Battle Royal featuring many stars of LPW, except a known piece of shit Todd Supple. He won't be there. The winner will receive the Wichington Cup and the LPW Championship title match at LPW Fall Frenzy on Saturday night, September 21st, at the Clinton, Mass. Elks Hall. Who's the LPW champion right now? Oh, that's right, Vern Vacala.
Vern Vacala.
So he's not defending on this one, is that?
If there's a title in New England, there's a better than average chance Vern Vacala holds it.
Nice. Is this their? Do they have any shows in between this that Vern might lose it, or?
I don't think so.
Okay, why don't you just say they'll earn a title shot against Vern Vacala? Come on, dude.
Well, because Vern Vacala's No, he's not
No, he's
defending
not.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
More to be announced. Go to luckyprowrestling.com/witchington.html.
Well, actually, that show's not till September, so there's a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. I'm like, if
Yeah,
there's more
okay.
things in between, or if
I mean, I don't work for Lucky Pro. I've been to some of their shows and great group of guys over there, but probably Adam would be a better source for that question
I'll
than
get
me.
on that. That does it for the rundown for this Thursday, May 18th.
Like 2 months from now, he's gonna go, "Oh yeah, we had no shows in between there."
That's right.
Thanks.
That does it for this Thursday, May 16th, 2019. Please rate us and review us, and we will read the reviews on air.
Rate us 5 stars. Don't be a dick.
All right, sorry. You can rate us 5 stars. I don't like pandering. I do want to thank...
Sorry, don't be a dick and give us 1 star, because that's the
I
type of
thought you were
thing
calling
that people.
me a dick. Sorry.
No, I'm saying that's the type of thing that people we're sort of assholes and sarcastic on this show. I could see people going, "Oh, dude, they'll get a kick out of this. I'm gonna fucking rate him 1 star,"
Fair
but that actually hurts the show. So please, for the sake of helping the show, 5-star reviews.
Fair enough. Big Booty Judy decided to let us know that Twat Magic is the greatest show ever. So thank you, Judy. Appreciate that. You can follow us on Twitter at Rundown Network. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Rundown Wrestling. Email to show your dick pics via rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Go to instagram.com/Rundown Wrestling. Go to youtube.com/Rundown Wrestling, where you can go ahead and subscribe and catch our live shows like John and Smathers did tonight. Leave us a voicemail, 617-863-6967 at 61 Rundown 7. We will play your voicemail on air no matter what it says. I do not pre-screen. We are on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/Rundown Wrestling to become a patron. All patrons will receive early access to shows in the Rundown feed, as well as some swag and some original content. This week, you can head on over there and you can listen to Blue Fist, which me and Ginger take a look at the very first episode of SmackDown that happened 20 years ago, which we both remembered because we're old as shit. Coming up soon, there will be a second episode of Burning Sensation with me and Jeff. He just needs to find some time in his busy schedule to edit it. So it'll be going up as well. Obviously, you get early access to things. You can
When is Wrestling with Dicks coming back?
Whenever I can find time, man. I got Twat Magic tomorrow. It's the greatest show on our network, so I got to record it again. Check out our website, rundownwrestling.com, for information on all of our great shows, such as the Nitromania podcast, Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, Making the Grade, NXT Revisited, Twat Magic, and WrestleMania Salvation. If you are a Patreon member, you can go listen to the Nitromania podcast right now, as long as Adam was able to figure out whatever issue he was having and actually posted it. You can also head on over there as well to vote in our hottest male WWE talent tournament.
You'll also be able to listen to Making the Grade on the website after Troy posts it on Monday.
Listen to our friends, the Brawler, Brian Malonis, and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing, with new podcasts every Monday. Go to facebook.com/thewpn and thewpn.com. We shout out these guys quite a bit. They help us out a lot as well. Obviously, you know Brawler Brian Malonis, ROH star, obviously around the indies.
Frequent guest on this Rundown Network.
Yep. Mike Crockett, former referee, vast knowledge of the wrestling world. These two guys, typically not too much talking about WWE, but you get a lot of inside stories and road stories, and you just get general love of wrestling for these two guys. So make sure to check those guys out, because they do phenomenal work for us. They do a phenomenal podcast as well. You can check out our friend Justin Michaels on his show Yes and Waltz. Go to YesandWaltz.com and watch it on the Roku through the RNTV app or the 24/7 Retro app. You can follow our hosts on Twitter at JStewart0920, at RockstarTroy, at WrestleMania Sal, at Realist Tommy, at Johnny Adalog, at Ginger19876, at Hurry Up and Cruiser. Sal, is there any other ones that we should be following?
At Lily Lane XXX.
Okay. Make sure to check that one out. Eventually...
So Ginger and Jeff have dropped below Johnny Analog on the pecking order.
I noticed that too. I don't know who switched them around, but I approve. Also, Adam is not on there, but he's never present on the show in a long time, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, shit! I didn't even notice that.
You can follow me as I am trying my hardest to get blocked by the Bella Twins, and they just won't do it. So,
Well, shout out to Nikki Bella for the nip slip this week.
yes, very much so.
Is that gonna be a point of discussion on Twat Magic this week?
I would assume so. I was hoping I was able to get my question into her before they did the show, but I don't think so. My question was who had the darker nips, but I don't think
They were very dark. I will say that.
We've seen them before. They have dark nipples, both of them.
Yeah.
So because we've seen Breeze as well, and they were different looking than Breeze. But again, I mean, one of them's got fake tits, so it's got to affect them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, still dark nipples, but that's because they're Mexican. Sal knows about that. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to Jason
Thanks, Troy.
and Sal.
Gracias.
Thanks to Jason for our theme song, and thanks to Sal for his years of service on the Rundown. And good luck with your AEW podcast on Anchor. Next week, we continue to pleasure ourselves to pictures of beautiful men.
Well, maybe not.
Well, maybe we'll see.
So I guess that means we will see you next Thursday.
And we will see your ass next time.
Bye-bye.
Sal, you're up.
Nice. This has been a production of the Rundown Wrestling Network. If you're interested in having your podcast join the Rundown Wrestling Network, please email us at rundownwrestling@gmail.com for more information. And thank you for listening.
Wee way.
Oh, gotta love it.
Oh, that's good.
Alright, I need to get editing this, so
All right.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you, John and
Smathers.
sorry. And thank you to the other person that kind of popped in and out. You're not here now, but I know you were here for a little bit of time.
Thanks, Spambot.
There was a sixth person as well at a certain point in time, so thank you for that as well. But we will see you guys next week.
Thanks. Later.
Later.